And I'll say that for any smoker in my life, I tell them, quit smoking traditional cigarettes now and switch to vaping if it helps you quit. That is my position on this. The fact that we haven't had clear messaging in this country, I think actually literally kills people.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about...
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Locally, my clients are physicians, nurses, single moms, couples, multiple generations of families, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled, veterans, residents of assisted living facilities, and teachers at the local elementary, middle, and high schools. Most are dealing with serious issues other than their smoking habit, further degrading their quality of life and their ability to quit smoking. From 18 to 96 years old with an average age of over 40, nearly all referrals by other successful clients. Most have smoked for decades, the result of the 93% failure rate that they've been stuck with. They don't believe you and don't trust you with damn good reason. You will never reach these people. They know you don't care, and they despise you for it. I greet them in a t-shirt, this one with Kevin Crowley on it, and blue jeans, and a nicotine molecule tattooed on my forearm.
It's a trap.
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Aloha and welcome to another Friday show. It is I, your host, Patrick, and I have a substitute Kevin. This week. So Jason is in the back room. Throughout the show, I'm probably going to still call him Kevin, but it'll be okay. It'll still all work out. I was going to do the show from the other computer, and for some reason it was not recognizing my camera, so I had to switch over to this computer, but I still have everything ready and open and ready to go. I see that Toasty was here first, and then Mallory came in after, and Michelle's here, and James is still in his corner. Addie showed up. There's Addie saying hello to everybody. There's people here, and there will be other people. The lovely Michelle Elliott is here saying hello to people too. And like I said, Jason is normally in the chat, but well, he's in the chat right now. He says, "Hey, everybody," even though he's stuck in the back room right now. I might let him out, but how the hell are you? So, it's Friday. We have all weekend to enjoy ourselves. And tonight we do have a hell of a lineup of information and stories to talk about and things that are going to put a burr under your saddle. We have a really disgusting bit of spying on children in the bathroom that we're going to talk about the fourth or fifth article in. I want more people to be here before we talk about that one. But we're gonna, and then oh my God, for the brave at heart that want to go to the Rumbles or that are already in the Rumbles, the 7, 8, 10, whatever articles that I have over there, you guys are going to you're going to get angry and mad, and you're going to dedicate yourself to fighting the good fight for liberty and justice in the American way. But anyway, let me get Jason in here. Let's see what he looks. He's already impatient. I can see him. He's back there. He looks like he's chomping at the bit. Hey, Raj just showed up too. Hey, Raj. Yeah, let's get Jason in here. Look at him. He's grinning from ear to ear. He's got a little Tyrannosaurus Rex with some sort of. Oh, he's even got Kevin's hand, but it's not a pointy hand. You need a pointy hand.
I don't have a pointy hand.
So Jason, just to refresh everybody's mind, who the fuck are you?
I'm just a guy.
Just a guy. No.
Yeah, I'm just
Jason.
A guy.
Jason came on the show last year after he participated in one of the open comment periods on the FDA and had a rather insightful video published and posted and shared and all that stuff. So we said at the time, let's get Jason to come on the show and talk about his video and his experiences talking to the morons at the FDA.
Morons.
Yeah, but ever since then, he's been a dedicated member of the chat. He's got a bottle of beer or wine or whatever that stuff is that he's drinking over there. I hope he brought extra because he's going to be here for a while. There's no going to bed early. There's no going to bed early tonight. The other thing is the reason we have so much stuff to talk about is I was looking for stuff. Jason decided that he was gonna participate and give me stuff. And between the two of us, we actually collected, and I diced it up. I cut a bunch of stuff out that I had picked and some of the stuff that he had picked. And it's still a lot. It's still a lot. So
a lot.
I hope everybody packed a lunch. I'm just saying,
buckle up, buttercups.
Buckle up. So anyway, Jason, how was your week?
Yeah, I'm alive.
Well, you survived. That's good. I mean,
I'm still riding up front. That's an old funeral director's joke. I'm not riding in the back.
You're not riding in the back, yeah. Well, you're not in a pine box somewhere.
No. Healthier than ever. Healthier than ever.
I'm queuing up a video over here, and I'm weeding through commercials.
I'm proud to be here in Kevin's place tonight, to be honest.
Well,
I'm always heckling from the cheap seats, but this is I'm very honored.
Is somebody actually charging you for those horrible seats? Because if you're saying there's cheap seats, that means there's expensive seats, and that means that I'm getting screwed out of some money.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm too poor to be screwed out of money. Just saying.
Same.
Speaking of here, you're not a nerd. You're not a nerd, but I am a nerd. And this week I got a very special Harley Quinn comic signed by 11 professional artists. Darwin Cook, who is a gentleman who passed away. That gentleman right there is one of my favorite artists. And I saw his autograph, and then I noticed that the two guys that actually created Batman the Animated Series, who created the character of Harley Quinn, signed this as well, and a bunch of other people. And I'm like, oh, I have to have that. I must have that. Don't tell my wife. So yeah, that's my nerdy collection of the week. But so you remember last week? You remember last week you sent me a silly video of some redneck politician talking about Zyn. Right. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Zyn again tonight, but there's a couple.
It's like a dip.
It's like a dip, but it's not a dip, but it's like a dip. you got to get the Bama down. If you can't do the Bama, then it ain't worth your try. But
like
here, let's look at this here. This is about the ZYNSURRECTION here.
Oh God.
Give me Zyn or give me death.
Now, as a person named Patrick, I am very in tuned to the "Give me liberty or give me death" Patrick Henry quote, and I don't know if I approve of the bastardization of Patrick's wonderful speech for a sinful thing like that. But anyway,
the sentiment is cropping up online as Senator Chuck Schumer called for a federal crackdown against Zyn nicotine packs.
Now, I imagine that he probably wrote a firmly worded letter to the FDA and to Congress and to all the other people that he feels like he really wants to get their attention on this Zyn product that he's so upset about. Have you tried a nicotine pouches there, Jason?
I have a can in my drawer at work, always coffee flavored.
Yeah. Oh, is it the Zyn coffee? Because that is the flavor that Skip Murray said she is a big fan of.
Yep, I have
Or
the
is it
coffee
a
flavor.
different. Yeah,
It's a Zyn brand.
I'm gonna have to track one of those down. But
it's a brown.
I don't
can.
ever go. I never go into the convenience store. I pump my gas and I just get I never go in because I always carry like a cooler full of like soft drinks or tea or whatever in my car, so I don't ever have a reason to go in. So I'm gonna have to make myself go in just so that I can pick up one. But
Here's Schumer urging the FTC and FDA to begin investigating Zyn over concerns related to its marketing and health effects. Let's watch.
Pouch packed with problems, high levels of nicotine. So today I'm delivering a warning to parents because these nicotine pouches seem to lock their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and then use the social media to hook them.
The social media.
The Facebook.
Packed pouch. A packed pouch. The Facebooks.
The Facebook.
Anyhow, let's keep going with this. Chuck. Up, Chuck.
Senator Schumer is urging the FTC and the FDA to investigate Zyn for concerns relating to marketing and health effects.
Now, the internet was outraged, but perhaps no one was more outraged than conservative commentator Greg Price, who wrote, January 6th will look like a tour of Disneyland in comparison to the ZYNSURRECTION. Saw Marjorie Taylor Greene also use that phrase, ZYNSURRECTION. So this is a product that is popular with a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who use this. It calls to mind. So obviously you have to be, of nicotine age appropriate to purchase it. 21 to purchase it. I'm sure people are, obtaining it anyway.
So they're saying that you have to be 21 to buy these nicotine pouches. Now, can anyone justify why a product that has not been deemed a tobacco product is age gated? Because these products nicotine. Well, yes, but that doesn't mean anything. There's no regulation on nicotine products delivered as a pouch.
But it looks like a dip.
But it's not a dip.
It looks like one.
I'm wondering if, obviously, I'm hoping retailers are actually responsible, but I don't know legally. Zyn might have the grounds to say our products are not tobacco products. Our products have never seen a tobacco plant.
Right.
Our product, there is no nicotine tobacco. It's the family smoking, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have anything to do with nicotine pouches. If it was a snus, that's actual tobacco that's been, pasteurized and gone through a whole process and yada, yada, yada. But this is not. Right. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just, I don't know that they could actually. I'd like to see them bust somebody. Is what I'm saying.
I think they have good. I think they have good ground to stand on.
the spirit of the law and the letter of the law may not actually overlap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's a bit convoluted because it has nicotine, I believe, and they're on the same rack as Skoal and Copenhagen.
Right, and that's just because of the convenience and form factor. I mean, it's in a can like it's chewing tobacco, but that could just be. Well, I mean, on is in a square thing. Right. It's not in a can. It's not in a circular can. That actually may be an error in packaging. Like you know, if it had been me, I would have been like, should we actually put these in the same kind of can that Skoal goes in, or should we put these in a a small resealable Ziploc bag? You know,
right? Or a triangle shaped can. Or a round tube.
It could just be an error in judgment when it comes to how they decided to package their product. But I don't know.
It's a lesser risk product than Skoal or Copenhagen.
I'm a YouTube person or and yes, Mallory's right. Snus, the Campbell Snus is not in a round 10. However, that is a tobacco product because it is a snus product, which is actual tobacco that has been gone through a process, whereas nicotine pouches is not. It is synthetic nicotine in a powder form with powdered flavoring. I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering, as a lay person, when it comes to, I'm not an attorney, so don't even say Patrick said, but I would be interested to see how that actually worked out in a pure like letter of the law legal fight. But here, let's keep going here.
The company is not specifically marketing it to teenagers. It is for adults. That's
what's in contention. That's the question. So the argument that's being made is that the advertisements do specifically market to children, emphasizing flavor. The same kind of arguments that we saw with
Jewels and Prime and all of that.
Or any other
flavor bursts. I mean, does it have an additional flavor burst, or is it just that it's got flavors in it? And anything that has flavors in it must obviously be for children.
I think the flavor burst is on the outside of the packet. Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I'm just, do you like things that taste good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just,
do you?
Are you old?
Yes.
I mean, I obviously Kevin is ancient, and you are substitute Kevin. So, but I would assume
my beard
that
is gray.
By looking at you, you could be in the 50-year-old range, give or take.
Close.
And again, you're not as old as Addie, because Addie, he's pretty old. I'm just, but yeah, I mean, this whole, well, it has a cherry flavor, so it has to be for kids because it's cherry flavor. I don't get it. I've been scratching my head and not getting it for like 10 years when it comes to that whole flavor argument thing. But yeah.
We used to live in a world where there were literal little candy cigarettes to prime kids on a certain kind of habit.
Adults like candy cigarettes too.
You can feel however you want to feel about it, but there was a time in our country where we decided that we wanted to disincentivize direct marketing to minors who, under the law, were not supposed to be smoking or eating or chewing or whatever the product. Anyway, so this is what's going to play out: an examination on whether or not Zyn's marketing practices are actually targeting the youth, or whether
she's saying that the investigation is going to focus on whether they're actually marketing. Well, no. In their mind, packaging anything that looks like if it's apple flavor and it has a picture of an apple, that marketing is only for children. But if it was in a plain package with the word apple on the outside and no picture of the apple, are they assuming that kids can't read? I mean,
Text. Yeah, right.
It does. If it says apples Zyn on the side, and it's just in a white container with the word Apple and Zyn on the side, would they then argue that that still continues to market because that has the word Apple on the side? I mean, how are you to differentiate your product from a different version of your product if you have Apple in root beer? I'm just going to throw root beer out there because I like root beer. Are they then going to say, well, the word root beer is marketing to kids? Where is the line? I mean, where do we stop standing up for the product? You know what I'm saying? To me,
the guy says that adults like candy cigarettes too. So
Yeah.
he's clearly defending flavors and
no,
shapes.
he is. But this young lady here,
right?
She just, she says, "Believe what you want," and then goes on her little, speech about how the
Bloomberg
investigation
tirade.
is going to, the investigation is going to single out whether or not it actually is marketing. Well, no, I mean, where do you draw the line between what is for kids and what isn't for kids? What my theory on the matter, my opinion on the matter is that even the word Apple, with no packaging, no bright colors, black words on a white background or white words on a black background, whatever, they're going to say that's still marketing to kids.
Terrible.
I don't get it. I mean, I said to, and this has been a very long time ago, I said to a bunch of e-liquid guys, you should just put numbers on the side of your bottles. Just say, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. Just have a plain package with a number on the side. Throw your company logo in there, and that's your packaging. And see what they say.
To go and research what a number 1 is on a flavor profile, and if I'm in the store, and unless I know what I'm looking for, I need a number 3 or a number 7 or a 17. You're not going to get the traffic, and you're not going to get the sale because people have to research what a number 7 is. So it's about simplicity, just saying Apple.
Right. So now, to counter that, there is a cigar line that has been out for years. It's a wonderful cigar line, and it's called Illusion. And all of their cigars are just numbers.
Right.
And you have to figure out which one it is that you want. And they sell pretty good numbers of cigars because they're that good. So I to me, if a whole bunch of people had did it, I don't imagine it would have made any difference. But the customers would have figured out which numbers they liked.
Right.
But then we could use that as an example and say, look, is this marketing to kids? Because it's just a number. I mean, what are you saying here, boss? What is it? The packaging? Is it what is actually marketing and what is actually just packaging? You have to differentiate your product somehow. And a little picture of an apple or a little picture of a banana on the side of the package isn't any more or less enticing to children, because they're gonna do the same thing. If it was a plain package with a number on the side, they're gonna figure out which one they like, and that's the one they're gonna buy, and regardless of whether or not it has a picture of a fruit on the side of it or not. If they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. That's ultimately what my argument on that. But let's see what else she says.
Whether or not this is a kind of a Nannystate overreach, and some degree of teenagers are going to get their hands on this product, and it is what it is.
I remember, I haven't specifically looked at Zyn's packaging, but like 6 months ago, Chuck Schumer said the same thing about that Prime energy drink. That's the energy drink it's like Logan Paul invented it. I actually am a huge fan of it. I drink it frequently.
No, I don't think Logan Paul invented anything. I just think some company came to him and said, Can we use your name and we'll give you a check for $100,000? I don't think he really had anything to do with
No, he didn't invent anything.
Inventing.
And they're like, oh yeah, Chuck Schumer said the same thing. It's being marketed to kids because the cans are like brightly colored. I mean, it says on the can, not for kids, have to be certain or whatever. And also it's caffeine. It's as much caffeine as like a strong Starbucks coffee. So
well, we just had a case of someone dying from having a Panera drink that was overly caffeinated. I'm just saying, like, so we can't have it both ways.
Oh, nobody is dying strictly because of an over caffeinated drink at Panera. They had to have something going. They had to have a heart condition. They had to have something wrong with them.
Medication.
That would, yeah. I mean, the drink didn't do it. Let's just be clear. The drink didn't do it.
Well, they could have had 9 Red Bulls before they got there.
Well, I think I'd be peeing like crazy if I drank 9 Red Bulls. I've never drank a Red Bull, let alone 9. But I would assume if I drank 9 of them, I'd be pissing that shit out pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah.
I can have it every way.
So if you think that there should be no age limits on cigarettes or
16.
this product or whatever it is, then that's a
You see him under his breath? 16.
16.
separate argument. But it seems like what Chuck Schumer is arguing for is to ensure that the age limit that has been decided upon already is enforced. So you can be bad at both.
No. He is not arguing for an existing age limit to be enforced. He's arguing for the banishment of all the products that he deems to be bad off the market. That is, I mean, he's looking for a ban. He's not looking for age restriction. He's not looking for regulation. He says these products need to be removed from the market for everyone, not kids, everyone.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Is Chuck Schumer an executioner? Is he a judge?
No, he's a legislator. He writes
Is
laws.
is
He's
he a
supposed to write
president?
laws. No.
Right.
Because that is what the executive branch enforces the laws.
Right. So he's standing on a soapbox and he's trying to sway public opinion as a dipshit. Yeah.
Yeah. This is all psyops. This is all, propaganda. This is all, look at me. I'm doing something. I got to get my face on TV because in midterms I'm up for election, and I want everybody to see that I'm doing something. So, yeah.
Both of those things. But I do think there is a much stronger argument that says, are companies going around the prohibition that's been decided on under law to market to get people to consume?
Now, and she's claiming that the marketing commercial, have you ever seen a Zyn commercial, Kevin or Jason? I told you I was going to do that.
I have not. I've seen a billboard, maybe, but not a.
I don't even. I don't actually think I've seen any advertisement. Now, for some reason, though, YouTube seems to think I should be interested in cannabis products because we're not sponsored by Mood Cannabis, but I see at every YouTube video. I guess YouTube thinks that I should be interested in Mood Cannabis because I get that fucking Mood Cannabis commercial all the time. Yep. And it's like a woman getting into bed with her husband and giggling and saying, "You'll never guess who I smoked pot with today. My dad. I smoked pot with my dad."
Ugh.
And I'm just like, seriously? This is what you're I mean, you would think, since there's a prohibition on advertisement for all tobacco products on TV, radio, I would assume social media, that since that particular cannabis products are not legal in the United States at all. I mean, there are some states, but federally, it's not legal. It's still illegal. You would think that YouTube would have to follow American laws since they're an American company. I do know for a fact that if you're in Germany, they have very specific social media laws over there that control the advertisements in Germany. that they can control which article or which advertisements are seen in that country. I would assume they have the ability to do so here, but for some reason, even though that product is completely illegal in Texas, and still, even though some of the states are, have gone their own way and legalized it locally, or in the state, not locally.
Backtrack. This guy's saying 16 should be the age. A 16-year-old can
for
drive
smoking,
a car,
yeah,
a dangerous vehicle, and kill multiple people at once with a car. He's got an excellent point.
I do actually know that occurred when I was in high school. A 16-year-old kid, he was probably 17, killed 2 girls in the car with him and 2 people in the car that he hit. So 4 people with a car. That was a very tragic event when I was in high school. I remember that shit. But yeah.
And Addie's got a good point.
By simply using marketing to do.
A good point.
Yeah. Schumer's done a really good job promoting Zyn. So he's boosting his 401k profile.
Is Zyn a PMI product? Is Zyn Philip Morris?
Yes, I guess.
I don't know. Give me a second here. Let me use my Google foo. Yes, it is. Zyn is acquisition. So Swedish Match actually owned Zyn, and Philip Morris purchased Zyn from them. Huh. Interesting. I did not know that. You learn something new every day just because Addie's in the chat room. Yep.
What kind of the age to get around what the age limit is providing here, and that is an open question. I'm not familiar with these age.
Maybe ultimately I just don't care, because I think probably 16 and up should be able to consume the product anyway.
There are many reasons why I'm not especially sympathetic to the tobacco industry. One, as a history of science major, there's a book by a man named Gallison that really details all of the lies.
Okay, so this is not to get ugly here, Kevin, Jason.
Kinder, Kevin.
This is also this young lady is also one of those people that would preach that what's the word that is being bandied out now here, reparations, that the people of today should pay for the sins of yesterday. And I can promise you that none of the people that lied in the past about cigarettes are on the board of directors of these companies now. They're probably all dead and in the ground and worm food. And a new group of people are there that did not perpetuate the sin that those people did in the past when they claimed that smoking wasn't bad for you and that smoking didn't cause cancer. Those people are gone. Now, do I believe that they're, holy, beneficent people? No, I don't believe that at all. But I'm sure that they're not stupid enough to make the same mistakes that their forebears made.
Right.
They're not going to tell the same lies that those people. They know that they're being scrutinized. This is one of the most heavily regulated industries in the world. They know that the eyes of regulators are on them all the time. So they know now not to pull that same shit. So you can't blame the people of today that work for Philip Morris for the sins of the people that used to work for Philip Morris. Just, it's like, it's just not. It's like if my dad was a bank robber, they're not going to put me in jail because he was a bank robber. But, it's silly. Silly.
Lies, fake research, literal, actual misinformation campaigns that the tobacco industry put millions of dollars behind for years after they had full knowledge that cigarettes caused cancer and hid it from the country and lied about it for a decade. And so I'm not especially trustful in the industry in the first place, but I also had a personal experience maybe 5-6 years ago when I was still living in New York. And I was sitting on the subway, and a couple like 13-year-old little kids were sitting across from me, and they started to try to like chat me up. I guess.
Oh,
they thought.
Okay. So this is, you remember the story about Juul sending people to schools?
Right.
That we've disproven.
Right.
Now.
Didn't happen.
This is the same story, but this is something I guarantee you this never happened. This never happened. But yeah, listen.
I was considerably younger than I was at the time. And they were sweet. And to me, they're like kids. So I was engaging them in some chat, like, where are you from? What grade are you in? That kind of thing. And they were both smoking Juuls on the subway, which, you're not supposed to do, whatever. I'm not their mom, although I could have been. And we're having this conversation, and I'm trying to get a sense of like where they're going in life, and like, well, I want them to be good kids.
Now, I've been on the New York subway, not Kevin. And I promise you, that is not the place where you just strike up conversation with people.
No.
A New Yorker would know. I mean, a New York, you just don't walk up to people and say, oh, hi, That's not going to happen.
And these two older people get on the subway with very nice clothes on. They look like affluent people. And they see me talking to these two little black kids, and they inject themselves in the conversation.
Now, not to go off base here, but she just said these two little black kids.
She was insinuating that they were white guys in suits talking to two little black kids. Am I right?
I mean, but that she was talking the two little black kids that were on the train smoking their Juuls before the two guys in suits came in, but it's just the fact that she used those terms that I think would probably be very dangerous if you or I said those words.
Her counterpart is not buying an ounce of what shit she's serving up right now. I can see it in his eyes. Look at the look on his face.
He's giving. Oh, he said my BS meter's going off.
In a very specific way. The guy starts asking them what feel like research questions about what flavor Juul they like. When do they start having Juul? Isn't it so tasty? Don't you like it so much? I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, what is going on, sir? And he worked for one of those companies.
What is going on, sir? Yeah. You see what I'm saying about the fakeness of this anecdotal story that she's telling?
Did he flash his Juul badge?
And he was doing like market research, clearly elated about the fact that he had gotten these babies.
What if that was
apparently what she's claiming is that he admitted that he worked for Juul and he was doing market research. Yeah.
Sound like a pervert.
Schumer undercover.
It wasn't Chuck Schumer to smoke his product. And, I do not like the idea that there are clearly corporate actors that are trying to push products that they know do not have good health effects on kids onto kids to turn a profit. And you can say, parents should intervene and all of those kinds of things. And I think that's true. But
it is an action verb, as the real Kevin says. The whole parenting thing. You're supposed to do stuff.
We also live in a world where we all know that we succumb to peer pressure, we succumb to marketing. And even if I'm not.
Peer pressure. Is that a real thing? Not Kevin? Do you succumb to peer pressure?
I used to.
You did actually succumb to peer pressure when I said you have to take Kevin's place.
I did.
I just I put my finger on you from on high and said, you are Kevin on this day. And
here I am.
Said, okay.
I'm not Kevin.
You're there. You're not Kevin, but you're substituting Kevin.
On the side of a Nannystate, I don't want to be on the side of people who are actively championing the idea that kids are negatively affecting their health by using their products.
As long as we're sharing anecdotes, I'll share one of my own. So I have tried this product, Zyn. As I said, I think it should be legal. I generally, as a libertarian, I want to let people put whatever they want in their own bodies. This product, I will say this, it is not for me. I tried it and I got sick immediately. I rarely get sick. This was
What kind of sick? What do you mean?
Like I
nauseous?
vomited.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah. This is not for me. I broke a long streak of avoiding that particular unpleasant experience, like a decade long.
And how
streak.
do you? It's just
So you put it in your mouth and you just
it's
a patch you put in your mouth and you just have it in your mouth, and then when you're done with it, you spit it out. So it's almost more like chewing tobacco or something, but you're not.
What's it
You're not
supposed to
spitting
do?
continuously.
Just give you
Well,
a
it supplies you with
nicotine
nicotine. You get a nicotine
And what's
buzz. There's different levels of it. Like there's of how much nicotine you're getting from the pack. I think maybe I took one that was too strong for me. Like I'm not a regular smoker. I smoke cigarettes now and then if I'm offered them. I've never had a problem with them in the past. So this wasn't like my first exposure to nicotine ever in my life. So it took me by surprise how much it overwhelmed me, and I will never have it again. But that's my choice, and I think it should be yours as well.
So apparently somebody that doesn't use nicotine may not be what's the word I'm looking for? May not have the tolerance for a product that contains high levels of nicotine. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? That would be like somebody that has never drank a beer deciding to drink a 12-pack of beer all at one setting. Huh.
Right.
I not to be ugly and not to, tell people what to do, but I mean, to me, if you're not using nicotine, why would you want to start? Doesn't make any sense to me. But again,
well,
what?
Some people say their mental acuity rises when they use nicotine, and that's fine.
Well, that is true. Some people do, and we've addressed that. Victor showed up. He's in the rumbles, by the way. We've addressed that. So, for example, we had Charlie on the show. Yeah. We had Charlie on the show, and Charlie said, every brain is different. Some people have more receptors, more nicotinic receptors than others. Other people have fewer THC receptors because THC doesn't do shit to me.
Right.
I apparently have fewer receptors or too many. I don't know. I mean, because in college, I'm not going to lie, I did inhale, and it just didn't do it for me. Just was weird. So I don't know what to say about that.
I don't think your receptors have been awakened. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I have done enough that I would think that if I did, I would. I mean, it wasn't just the one time. I went to art school, so just saying. Other things that I tried in art school worked, but that one just didn't. But it is what it is. Have you ever been to Ireland?
Have not.
You've never been to Ireland? Well, my people are from the Emerald Isle, and
my people are as well.
I haven't been recently, but I have been. And when I was there before, everyone smoked. Like cigarettes were everywhere. Like grandma smoking on the back porch. And, everybody was smoking cigarettes. But they've turned out to be quite unfriendly to smoking in the last 20 years. They even passed a "you can't smoke in a bar" law, which was kind of a joke because people kept smoking. But here it says that Northern Ireland smoking numbers are falling, but vaping is on the rise. Good.
Very good.
I see that, yeah. In Northern Ireland, smoking-related deaths are 98% higher in most of the deprived areas compared to the least deprived. So poor people smoke more. That's pretty common, even in our country, most countries. The number of smokers in Northern Ireland has dropped from a quarter of the population to 14%. So they've dropped 11%. But concerns remain around prevalence among the most vulnerable. The Auditor General, Dorina Carville, also expressed concern at a rise in the number of people who vape, from 5 to 9% of adults in the last 10 years, and an estimated 9% of 11 to 16-year-olds, as well as 24% of year 12 students. So year 12 is obviously, it's about 18, same as if 12th grade here. Right. The report tackling the public health impacts of smoking and vaping records that an estimated 320,000 people aged 16 and over currently smoke in Northern Ireland. This is around 14% and has dropped from 24% in the 2010 to 2011 numbers. However, Ms. Carville's report finds that challenges remain, particularly with smoking prevalence significantly higher amongst the most deprived areas, 24% compared to the least deprived 7%. Well, obviously, people that are under stress, people that are trying to figure out how they're going to put food on the table and a roof over their head and clothes on their kids' back, they get stressed. And what are they going to reach for? They're going to reach for something that reduces their stress. And that will be, in most cases, either alcohol or nicotine. Neither one of those are perfect. Obviously, alcohol really fucks you up. Nicotine doesn't. Nicotine is relatively harmless. So why are you so concerned? I would be concerned with the alcohol myself. I mean, as someone who, if you've been around for a while, that you know that if Patrick starts drinking, Patrick doesn't stop drinking.
That's the Irish in you.
I mean, if you've been around for, depending on how long you've been around watching this show, you will have seen me and Fig putting away some booze and getting dumber and dumber as we go. It was also found that around 2,200 pregnant women continue to smoke annually, and emerging research suggests a high smoking prevalence amongst people with mental health issues. Again, look at Not Kevin for the mental health issues.
Hey,
in terms of impact, what?
Hey.
In terms of impact on the health service, the report finds that around 15% of deaths in Northern Ireland are attributed to smoking, as are around 35,000 smoking-related hospitalizations each year, and an estimated 218 million pounds, that's pounds with a P, spent in treating smoking-related illness. That's a lot of money. 218 million pounds is close to $300 million.
Right.
Like a 1.5, anywhere between 1.5 and 1.7 conversion. Meanwhile, the Public Health Agency estimates around 450 million pounds cost to the local economy due to premature deaths, excess illness or sickness, and absence. The cost of smoking for those who smoke 20 packs a day is put around 4,600 pounds per year. The report also examined the impact of the rapid emergence of vaping. It found that vaping levels among adults has almost doubled from 5 to 9%. And it also noted a Department of Health survey, which suggests that 9% of 11 to 16-year-olds in Northern Ireland are vaping. Well, those kids are probably under a lot of stress too. I mean, of course, there's no more nightclub bombings and things like that, but it's still not a great place. There's a lot of shit going on in Northern Ireland if you haven't been there.
The car bombings.
No more of those. We don't do those anymore.
Nope.
Nope. My cousins in the IRA, they all stopped. Yeah. But now they're putting up signs about, refugees. That's the new thing in Ireland is the anti-refugee signs. We covered that a while back. That's causing people to be upset. Yeah. So, in all, this thing is just complaining that poor people are still smoking, that people are vaping, and God dang it, we don't like it. That's really what this is. That's the whole gist of this piece. I'm waiting one of these days for somebody to publish a story that said less people are smoking and more people are vaping, and thank God they're not dying. That's one of the things that I want to see, and it hasn't happened yet. That story is not being published, which is really just distressing. I really think that they should be focused on the people that aren't dying. You know,
I think the cancer numbers are down in the United States, and there's some science that's attributing to low smoking numbers with lower incidences of cancer. So,
well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if people are not smoking, then less people are getting lung cancer. I mean, there are still other ways to get lung cancer. There's not just one way, you know.
Right.
Let's be honest. You know, there are other things that cause people to get cancer, but to reduce your exposure to bad things, you know, we should do that. But
harm reduction.
No, they don't like that word. They don't like it. Do you look like you're having fun, that you're enjoying yourself? If the answer is yes, then stop that, because we don't want you to have any fun. We don't want you to be happy. I'm very concerned about the Tyrannosaurus with the ninja cat. I'm just saying.
You like that, don't you? I figured you would.
I like T-Rexes, so you know, anything with a T-Rex. But there's a cartoon that's on HBO about a T-Rex and a caveman. That's like one of my favorite TV shows. Right now.
I'll have to watch that. Yeah,
it's pretty good. But anyway, here let's you know, while we're over in that part of the world, let's go ahead and do some UK coverage while we're at it here. I got a little video here that we can watch here. You know how I like the videos. I don't have to read stuff.
The Prime Minister has announced new policies on disposable vapes from today, banning them to help protect children's health after an alarming rise in youth vaping.
Now, not Kevin. I'm glad that we live in a country where the president just can't make laws. Like the prime minister can just say, okay, those are banned, and not have to go through a legislative process to, you know, have the representation of the people, the representatives of the people actually agree on a law. The prime minister can just say, oh no, those are banned. We don't like those.
What about executive actions or executive orders?
Well, executive orders can be deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court if somebody brings it to a case. So, you know, obviously they did that a couple times when the orangutan was president, a few times when, you know, the demented Alzheimer's guy who is currently president. They, you know, he's done some executive orders that have been pulled away because somebody challenged them with the Supreme Court. So that's the wonderful thing about our checks and balances, is that each department of the government, each branch of the government can check one of the other branches or both of the other branches. So it's quite nice. You know, there's not just one person in charge. My own personal feeling on the matter when it comes to executive orders is, if you look at the history of the use of presidential executive orders, each president has done more than has used them more than the president before him.
Right.
So, you know, and later on the Rumbles, we actually have an article that specifically talks about Joe Biden's first day in office and how he used executive orders to erase a huge portion of the president that was in front of him's use of executive orders. So I think, for me, if I were to be able to propose an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, it would be: presidents do not have the authority to legislate from the White House, from the Oval Office, and that all executive orders should be nullified. There should be the president should not have the authority to write an executive order, period. They should be done away with. The government should be run as the Constitution lays out. And there is no constitutional amendment for the introduction of executive orders.
Hey, Al's here.
I saw Andy's here. Here, let's keep going here.
Okay.
New powers will be brought in to restrict vape flavors and introduce plain packaging, and also change how they are displayed in stores. Joining us now is Ewan Fisher, who was on a ventilator for 2 months at the age of 16 as a result of his use of disposable vapes. Ewan, very much for joining us this morning. Can you...
Disposable THC vapes. This is we've already debunked this kid. We talked about him months and months and months and months ago. This is the one he wanted to grow up to be a singer, I think, or he there was one that was wanting to be an ultimate fighter. There was one that wanted to be a Navy SEAL, which he can't be because he's British, and another one wanted to be a singer. I can't remember which one this kid is, but he's one of those three.
Can you tell us why you started vaping?
Good morning. So I started vaping because I was smoking cigarettes before, and I wanted to uptake a boxing career and try and get.
So I was right. This is the one that wanted to be the MMA fighter or the boxer. Okay.
MMA, a lot further and progressed. So I took on vaping, obviously, because the whole thing that was in the ear is it's a lot better than smoking cigarettes, and a lot still believe that, obviously. But it's getting targeted more and more at children, and it just seems to be getting like the age just keeps getting younger and younger, and you see kids as young as 10, 11 vaping, and their bodies haven't even like progressed all the way yet, and it's just going to be ruining them from such a young age.
What reaction did you suffer when you took on the vape? Was it cumulative, or was it a sudden reaction to?
Now you can tell. I mean, obviously, news footage obviously has to use stock photos and things, but it says right there, U.S. edition. This is not even a British product. This is a U.S. edition.
No TPD limit on that
suffer when you took on the vape? Was it cumulative, or was it a sudden reaction to a vape that you were smoking?
So I was vaping for a little bit, not too long actually, before I ended up in my coma and nearly lost my life. So I started having like chest infections. Well, what I thought were chest infections. And my mum did tell me to stop vaping, and I didn't really listen to her because I was a teenager. I thought I knew best. And yeah, I wish I had listened because it ruined my whole life, really. I had a reaction called hypersensitivity pneumonitis. Yeah, and I was on an ECMO machine and 2 different supports of life support.
That is, I mean, for your mum, that must have been awful. For you going through this, realizing probably at the time, did you think, I've inflicted this upon myself?
Well, at the time, I wasn't too sure what it was until all the tests were taken and it was proven that it was vaping.
Proven? How? No. None of the information that's been published, let me say this, has definitively been able to prove that it was vaping that caused this. This kid is a lying little shit.
I wouldn't like to have said what it was that happened to me. But then obviously the effect it had on my family, my mum especially, my dad, because they had to obviously take time off work and look after me because I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk again because I lost all my muscles just from being in the coma.
How much were you?
Then the physiotherapist that was at the hospital didn't do their fucking job, because I've worked in the hospital with coma patients as a therapist, and we get every one of those patients, even if they can't sit up by themselves, even if they're completely flaccid, 2 therapists go in, sit the patient up to make sure that their lungs can fully expand, that they're not losing muscle tone, unless he was in a coma for years, unless he had some sort of neurological injury based on the fact that he had hypoxia or something else, but not just because of muscle atrophy. That's bullshit.
Vaping?
I was just doing it as like a substitute for cigarettes. So I wasn't vaping all the time. I was literally where I would usually just go and have a cigarette. I know I was still young and I shouldn't have been smoking it. I'd done it from like quite a young age because of peer pressure, and I was in school.
All right. Kevin, not Kevin. When did you start smoking?
Oh, probably 15, 14. 15.
Okay. And how long did you smoke, and how much did you smoke?
I really started smoking a lot in college. Probably a pack a day in college. Never really got past a pack a day. Probably smoked until I was dual using for probably 10 years, vaping and smoking both, just to reduce my smoking, but um, probably till 20, 2015 or so,
Mm.
really smoking
So
heavy.
this kid says that he didn't smoke a lot, but he smoked, and then he substituted vaping, so he wasn't vaping that much, and somehow he got some life-threatening, life-altering, life-crushing injury from a vape that he just used a little while. I'm not going to use myself for an example. Let's see. I'm not going to use Andrew because Andrew's been vaping a little bit longer than me, probably, because I've been at it almost 15 years. You've been vaping more than
Quite a
just
long
a few
time, yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who's in the chat room that I can ask a question that I don't. I mean, Addie's been around for a while. Omicidal's been around for a while. Michelle's probably been around for a while. Mallory, how long have you been vaping, dear? Let's see if she answers. Yeah. Out Mallory's, she's in there because she's asking about Airwick essential oils. So she's been vaping longer than I thought she had. I need to find. Oh no, that Al. Yeah, Al's been vaping. Oh, so I've been vaping a little bit longer than Al. And Mallory's been vaping for 10. Who's been in here the least amount? Come on, guys. I need something. I need something in the less than 5 years range. And I can't believe that everybody in here is a decade old user, but that's possible, I guess. Victor's in the Rumbles all by himself. He's been vaping for 11 years. Well, I mean, either way, within the first 2 or 3 years of you starting to vape, none of us generated any sort of pneumothoraxes or, life-threatening pneumonias. None of that.
None of that.
And, to tell you the truth, I've been, like I said, I've been vaping since 2010. And that's 14 years. I never heard of any, lipoid pneumonia or anything. Well, no, there was a little bit of a controversy over fluid back in the day because somebody claimed that they could get lipoid pneumonia from fluid because apparently there was an oil-based flavoring that was in that. I'm 100%, but there was a controversy about it. Somebody claimed that there was an oil-based flavoring in that, which could possibly, potentially cause lipoid pneumonia because, vaporized oils in the lungs is not good. That's why I hate it when people say, "Oh, there's oils in there." But still, I've been around a long time. I didn't hear about these, pneumothoraxes, these, weird pneumonias, these horrible lung diseases until the EVALI happened and the vitamin E acetate happened. I would love to see a chest x-ray from this cat and compare it with one of the chest x-rays from a EVALI patient in the United States during the scare.
Right.
And I bet you $10 this young man was probably vaping something other than a disposable nicotine e-cigarette. And since I know for a fact that this story, because we've covered this guy a couple times over the years, this was about 3 years ago, right in the beginning or right in the middle of the EVALI thing. And I'm concerned that this young man might be misrepresenting the truth, not Kevin. He could be lying.
Well, the EVALI pockets were all in the United States. So did he travel here for an MMA fighting event and got a illicit THC cart and flew
That
back
is not
to?
100% true.
I'm just
That
asking.
is, yeah. That is not. There were some recorded cases in other countries, not to the level that they were here,
Right.
but because to tell you the truth, pot is so easy to get in England.
Right.
Why would you get a vape? It's just so much easier. So much easier. But yes, see, Victor's right. This guy was vaping something other than, and God knows he may have been smoking something that he shouldn't have been smoking, because we know in illicit markets bad things happen. Products are not as well made as they are in the United States, or in legal markets, I should say. And sometimes, when I was a kid, there was always stories about people smoking pot that had been laced with angel dust. Was that ever an urban myth when you were a kid?
It happened around where I grew up. Yeah, PCP was very prevalent.
See, I know that PCP was prevalent, but I don't know of any pot dealer that would purposefully sell you regular old marijuana and then throw in a more expensive ingredient on purpose.
No.
Yeah. But yes, Victor's right. He didn't want to get his ass kicked by his mama. I'm telling you that if I had been in the hospital because I'd done something I wasn't supposed to do, as soon as I got better, I'd be getting my ass beat.
His mum.
And I thought it was something clever, which clearly it wasn't. I was just literally vaping as I would usually go out and have a cigarette at whatever time.
And what do you think of the proposals to ban the disposable vapes, get rid of all the fruity flavors and the like? I mean, was that something that you were smoking, the sort of sweet flavors that appeal to children?
Yeah.
The man who paid my very expensive hospital bills, because even though he's on the NHS, I'm sure that he probably had some sort of bill to pay.
Yeah, so basically to start off with, obviously I was vaping all the different flavors and whatnot. I was using the box mods, and there was like blackjack, tutti frutti, things like that. So that's what was appealing to me, and that's what I was doing. But I do think a ban will take down the figures and the amount of young children that are uptaking vaping.
And you shouldn't have been able to.
Now, do they have palm trees in the UK?
No.
He looks like he's in a very tropical environment. I just noticed that he's got a palm tree back there, and I'm just wondering if Bloomberg wrote him a big enough check that he could live on a small island somewhere. This could be some weird conspiratorial, but
he may be on Bloomberg Island,
or he could be on Epstein Island. You never know. Bloomberg may have bought it. You never,
to buy them. So how easy was it for you to access them?
Yeah, it was really easy. I could go to, well, I'm going to be honest. I've went in my school uniform to a shop before, and I've got one from behind the counter.
Was there any comments, any raised eyebrows?
I just wanted to get to the part where he said he wore a school uniform. Yeah, I mean, this is this would be a U.S. news story from 4 years ago. They're just picking up their talking points from us. They're just a few years behind. This is how disconcerting everything is. They test out stuff in one market, and then they wait a little bit and say, oh, well, this worked in the United States, so let's use this talking point in the UK to get these things banned in the UK.
Terrible.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And Valerie says that still being used to Claymore Valley. Actually, one of the articles that we're going to cover later on, put in our little chat room, and it's specifically quotes Evali and right in the middle of a scientific, a new, brand new, published scientific study. See, James says he professionally studies body language, and that guy has a whole lot of tails. Well, I mean, and the ums and the stilted, the stop and go language. He's thinking about his words before, he's pausing his brain to think about what words he's going to say. Those are all signs of maybe not being 100% truthful.
Hello,
But,
Meaty.
Meaty Bites is in the chat with the snow cones. The snow cones. So I think we've been on long enough that we can cover the one story that goes into our major topic list. Let me go to my bookmarks first. I want to go to my bookmarks.
God.
Here's my bookmarks. All bookmarks. All bookmarks. Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, scroll. I have a lot of bookmarks here. Scroll, scroll. Oh,
yes.
Here, let me present my share screen. Let me share screen my bookmarks while I'm scrolling through my bookmarks. See, this bookmark, yeah, somebody put, these are the ladies that I had a crush on when I was in my years from 7 to 10. Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah. World Health Organization. Oh, here we go. This is the bookmark that I wanted to. So these are posts that I have recorded over the years, specifically about abuse of children for the sake of nicotine. This young man, he was strip searched. A couple stories here. They pulled bathroom doors off of stalls in the bathrooms, so you can't even take a dump in privacy. This one, he was strip searched. All of these bathroom stalls were removed in that school. Again, locks were put on the bathroom doors. A lot of bathrooms and privacy violations here.
Creepy.
Definitely, yeah. This kid got beat up. Look at that poor fella, got all beat up, tased. We did a story about somebody being tased. So we got a news story from New Zealand, and it says that Green Bay High School students voice concerns about glass bathroom door. Principal says it's for stopping vaping and vandalism in the bathroom. And then there's a auto launch video about vaping, but it says in Auckland, I'm going to close that. In Auckland, an Auckland high school has installed a glass door, closed caption cameras, and a vape detection alarm in its bathroom, sparking concerns from students about their privacy. I would be raised all sorts of hell if they put a glass door in the bathroom. You're going to see a picture of it in a second. But Green Bay High School principal Fiona Barker says her school is following others across the country by moving towards designs that allow for greater passive supervision in bathroom areas. So on this show, not Kevin, I have said that teachers need to do their jobs. When I was a kid, there was in between classes, like when we were going from, first period to second period or whatever. Each hallway, there would be a teacher standing out in the hallway, just, checking out what's going on in the hallway. And I have suggested teachers go over to the bathroom door and open the door real quick and look in and, but there's a difference between peeking in the bathroom door and, looking at the people washing their hands or the closed stall doors versus having a glass door where anybody can just peer in through the glass door. And if you look in the photograph, the stalls also do not have doors.
Creepy.
So when we get to that, anyway. Photos posted online by students show a glass entrance door to be to the refurbished bathrooms, while there is also a large glass window on the opposite wall. Some Green Bay students took to social media to share their perceived lack of privacy, saying students do not just gather in toilets for nefarious reasons. No, sometimes they need to drop a deuce. What if I need to have a breakdown? One student wrote. They said that the new bathroom is completely devoid of privacy. The school's website detailed the reasoning behind the bathroom redesign and explained the makeover was not the only reason for the upgrade. These older style toilet blocks often become a place where students gather to socialize and sometimes vape or to vandalize the premises. So again, just have an instructor periodically peek in the door in between class. Hey, y'all wash your hands, get the fuck out of here,
I just think it's so creepy that everybody's so fixated on kids. I mean, if that were one person in a office that was fixated on kids, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? So hold on, I've got a cat in the way.
Is that General Tso's chicken?
Yeah, that's General Tso's chicken. Yeah, but it's just creepy that they're just fixated on kids. It's just creepy.
Modern bathroom facilities are designed to help discourage this. The Post said the school had followed the Ministry of Education's guidelines when designing the space to ensure students were given appropriate privacy. The glass door is only one measure to ensure students are not using the bathroom for anything other than its intended purpose, the Post read. So here, this is a glass door in the bathroom. There's a 3-pane glass window over there that also allows peeping toms from the outside to look in. There's stalls here. It looks like either they don't have doors or all the doors are open. I don't want to make a blatant comment that it doesn't look like there's doors there, because we know that is also a tactic that has been used in the past, is that they just take the doors off.
Right.
But just the idea that this whole area, that this is all glass and, people can just walk by and peek in and see all the kids doing their poops. That's, this is going to start a whole generation of like kids that have like weird kinks, like scat kink, poop play.
Poop porn.
Yeah. He's going to make a whole generation of kids that are just confused about poop. Green Bay, and this is not Wisconsin, this is New Zealand. Green Bay High School has also installed vape detection alarms and closed caption cameras, which record the communal and hand washing areas and not the cubicles. Well, again, if there's no doors on these stalls and there's a camera over here, how can you have a camera in the communal area? You see what I'm saying?
So ridiculous.
So if there's a camera here, in the corner looking down, there's still possible that they could get in, eye line views of things that they shouldn't have.
Recording kids. Yep.
Yeah. It's not right. For many years, Green Bay High has had a system of CC cameras throughout the school designed to support staff in keeping students and property safe and to help resolve incidents when they occur. Ministry of Education head of property Sam Fowler said, as a school-led project, the final design detail of the bathroom sits with the school and its designer. So did you see that, the school tried to throw the Department of Education in front of the bus?
Right.
They said that they followed the guidelines of the Ministry of Education. And down here, the Ministry of Education said, that's up to the school. You see that? Right there?
Yep.
A spokesperson for the privacy commissioner said everyone was entitled to privacy regardless of age. Duh. Students and school children should be able to expect a reasonable level of privacy in the bathrooms. The spokesperson noted the act of watching students through the doors was not covered by the Privacy Act. So if I look at the door, so I'm looking, this is inside looking out, not Kevin. There's no door. On the outside looking in, I couldn't see a door. So I'm assuming that there's no effing doors.
Oh. And those are prison sinks. They're stainless steel sinks.
Yeah, look at that. I haven't been in prison, so I'm going to take your word for it.
I haven't either.
Yeah. Students were also concerned after seeing images of the cubicles without doors, but Barker confirmed the doors had not yet been installed and probably won't be. Our systems and policies protect privacy for students, and in place of the footage is only viewed as on an as needed basis. For example, to assist in investigation is something that's happened in the area. So, not Kevin, as a person that normally sits in the chat room and listens to me spout off this same old statistic, and I'm sure it's not just in America, but I mean, this is an American stat. 1 in 10 public school students are sexually abused by an educator. So you're telling me that these surveillance cameras are only going to be used on an as needed basis. And I'm telling you right now, there are sick motherfuckers that work for these fucking schools. And somebody's going to be doing a peep and Tom watching those damn cameras. I'm telling you.
And is the school going to have qualified immunity because they are putting it on the designer of the school that,
Well, I don't know. The Department of Education said it's up to the school and the designer. The school says it's up to they use the Department of Education's standards. So
guidelines,
everybody's trying to wash their hands of this whole nonsense if it goes south. Yeah. Fowler confirmed the ministry advised schools to provide a degree of passive surveillance into the passive surveillance would be detectors.
Right.
Cameras that somebody's monitoring is not passive. That is active surveillance.
Disgusting.
I don't care what you say. That is the definition of active surveillance. We require that cubicles are fully enclosed and private. We also promote the distribution of toilets into small groupings so that students have choices that suit their needs. So one of the students said, what if I need to go in there and have a cry? A breakdown is what they said. But you know what that means. What if they're feeling hyper stressed out? Do you think that they want that on camera? Really?
No.
Myself, I don't think, I think that is that is a private moment that kid needs to work out shit. And
I go to cry in my truck every day at work.
Paranoid. Well, you wear a dress. That's okay. I won't hold that against you. I need to confirm that James R is still sitting in the corner. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm being sure. I'm still punishing him from last week.
What's up, Paul at LabWorks?
Blemeyer. Oh, look, I have another piece here. Oh, look, it's from the sun. The sun and the stars. Let me see if there's a commercial. Yes, there is. Listening to a commercial.
Okay. Is it Mood Cannabis?
No, it's actually not a YouTube. This is on a website. So,
did you find your hat?
No, I haven't found my hat, and you probably will see advertisements for that fucking hat on tonight because when I was pre-showing and doing all the, as many articles as we have, I have to use Tiny Earl to shrink the URLs because there's only so many words that you can post in a pre-show. And if I use the full, so I had to Tiny Earl all of the links.
Yeah.
So I had to open each one and put it through Tiny Earl to get the new Tiny Earl, blah, blah, blah. And I saw tons of advertisements for Houston Oilers ball caps.
Okay.
So you probably will see more, but here. Let's check this out.
Vaping has become increasingly popular in the UK, and even the NHS is encouraging people to make the switch over smoking. But some experts have warned that the branding of these products could be damaging when it comes to the health and well-being of children. And you can see from these products why kids might be enticed. With their brightly coloured packages and nod to popular sweet brands, it's...
So she says that these particular brands that you're seeing on screen, these are only enticing to kids. Now, as an adult person, I see a product that says hipster on it. I ain't buying that.
I love Skittles.
Myself, I don't like Skittles, but I do know plenty of adults that do. None of these, I mean, again, there's no, okay, so this one over here that says Bang. Bang.
Like Bang energy drinks.
Is that what that is? Is that a similar looking logo? I don't know. I don't know what a Bang energy. So I mean, are these great brands? No.
No.
Do any of these brands scream kid to me? No.
No.
And the one here with the black text on the red background?
No.
That's about as innocuous as you can get.
It looks like the new Kia emblem or something, like on a car or something.
Well, but it's just stylized text. Black text on a red field. And the blue thing, that blue thing there that says energy drink, that again, other than the word energy drink, I don't see where that is negative or positive. It's pretty stupid branding as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, again, just as a personal statement, anything that says hipster goes in the garbage at my house. But I'm just
The Elux and the Bang look classy, but the rest of them look like garbage.
Yeah.
It's no wonder why parents have been urged to be extra vigilant with...
Oh, let's show a kid using a not disposable vape.
Kanger box. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Their kids. The worrying truth is, if children get hold of these liquids, then it could lead to dire consequences. New research conducted at Broughton Life Sciences found that 25 out of 28 vape products tested were not legally compliant in the UK. More than a fifth of products also contain the banned substance diacetyl, which is known to cause popcorn lung.
Is it
diacetyl?
Is it known to cause popcorn lung? Is it?
Is this the girl that dresses funny?
No, this is that one. That was an Aussie bogan chick last week.
They look exactly the same.
This is a British, like, I don't know what the British version of a bogan is, but this is, but the last week's thing was some bogan chick wearing, and I'm wearing a different version of the Adidas shorts tonight. I'm wearing red ones. Last week she was wearing black Adidas shorts. With
white stripes.
Let's see if this chick is wearing Adidas shorts too.
Obstructive disease of the small airways. Initially, this term wasn't related to vapes. In fact, it came from a group of popcorn factory workers who developed lung disease.
And let's be 100%, there has never been a confirmed case of popcorn lung outside of those cases at the popcorn factory. There has never been any other recorded case of bronchiolitis obliterans diagnosed properly outside of these.
Zero.
None. Just so you know.
But it all comes back to diacetyl. In the UK, diacetyl was banned in e-cigarette liquids in 2016, so e-liquids sold in the UK shouldn't contain it. The research, in collaboration with JTI, also found that nearly 80% of these products tested use volumes of e-liquid higher than the 2 millilitres currently allowed under the current legislation. And more than 10% of the products contained over 20 milligrams of nicotine allowance. Despite this, vaping is still on the rise, and while it might be an alternative to smoking in the short term, better regulations are needed to protect the health and well-being of vulnerable children.
So this little video has nothing but like buzzwords like diacetyl, popcorn lung, making tenuous connections. I won't disagree that most of those products, the disposable products, they probably have a 5 milliliter, even though the 2 mil is the EU. I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
Right.
And yes, if they have diacetyl or diacetyl in them, and that is a banned substance in the EU, and it to be TPD compliant, it can't be there, then the products are probably not illicit, but they're not supposed to be there. But again, probably half of the vape products in that fucking country are probably illicit, and they're not supposed to be there.
Her Bloomberg check cleared.
I mean, to be clear, Jason, no product, none. Well, not none. 95% of the product in the United States is illegal.
Right.
The only products that are legal to sell in this country are products that have received their PMTA approval. All other products that are currently on sale are illegal and are on sale because the FDA is currently using enforcement discretion. That's the word that they use. But they are technically not legal.
Right.
So,
I'm vaping
her saying that these products are not legal, that's, if you're saying half of the products you tested are not compliant with TPD, big fucking hairy deal. Come to the United States, almost every product here is illegal.
Right.
So I don't know. Again, sure. Okay, fine. But all of the words that you used are lies. I mean, most of the words that came out of her mouth were lies. Or
they're just bullet
innuendos.
point talking points from whoever paid her.
Well, yeah. You got to make money somehow.
Those sweet bloom bucks.
Oh, let me double check this. Do I have two links? Yeah, okay. All right. So here, this is we'll finally get to the smart person part of the show. Now there was several academic pieces that you put up forward, but two of them were behind paywalls that we couldn't read.
Yeah. Politico.
So
yeah.
Those got cut out right away because I'm not gonna, if I can't read the whole damn thing, I'm not gonna share it on the show. So, but this one actually is one that is not behind a paywall. So this one says electronic vape fluid activates the pulmonary endothelium and disrupts vascular integrity in vitro through an ARF6 dependent pathway. It sounds very sciencey. So when I see the words in vitro, that usually means cell studies. They, put it on a little thing,
Petri
a little slide, a little petri dish, and they drip some liquid on there, and they look under a microphone or microscope. That really doesn't simulate the actual process, the biological process that would occur, since this is pulmonary endothelium. This is the tissues inside of the lung. So the only way to properly do an in vitro would be of the vapor on the tissues.
Right.
And most of the time when I've read these in vitro studies before, it has been contact testing where they pour liquid on the skin or on the cells. Now we already know that PG is antimicrobial. So you put antimicrobial substances on skin cells or on slices of skin tissue, and it's going to go about its job of being antimicrobial. We also know that G and VG are both anhydrous chemicals, which means that they dry shit out, essentially. So if you put an antimicrobial anhydrous chemical on direct contact with those tissues, what do you think it's going to do?
Irritate it.
And it's going to irritate it. It's going to do its antimicrobial thing. And it's going to cause cellular damage because that is the actual mechanism that those chemicals would be introduced into the body in a lot lower volume as a vapor versus as a liquid. It won't stay in contact with those tissues for as long as they would in a liquid format. So these types of studies that don't take into account the actual delivery mechanism and how it would work in the real world. These are worthless studies, but they get published, they get shared around in the circles because most people are not going to study the study. You got to read it critically, compare it with real world situation, understand what is going on. So, of course, it says here, e-vape cause breakdown of the pulmonary endothelium with excessive inflammation accompanied by overexpression of ARF6. Well, ARF6 is nomenclature that none of us probably know. I'd have to look it up myself, but
probably a T cell or something. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the mechanism of how the product would actually be used. But it says here, let's just go through this abstract because right here I see a word that has already got my attention. So the use of e-cigarettes or vapes is increasingly popular amongst a range of different demographics. However, the research in this area is surprisingly sparse. No, it isn't. I have hundreds of thousands of pages of science on my hard drive, let alone what Richard Pruin has on his website. Hundreds of thousands of pages over the last 15 years, science that has been conducted and published. Don't say that the research is sparse. That is
Phil's thread on Twitter is probably very robust scientifically. Yeah.
So it says here, clinical reports of e-cigarette or vaping use associated lung injury, EVALI, and vascular disruption in both nicotine-containing and nicotine-free e-cigarettes prompts the need to further research with a focus on the pulmonary endothelium. Using a common brand of e-cigarette, e-vape, and an in vitro model of human lung microvasculature, we investigated the effect of nicotine-free e-vape fluid. E-vape fluid. See there? Fluid. On pulmonary endothelial barrier integrity, oxidative stress, and inflammation. So, because this is proof. They said fluid. So they poured fluid on the tissues. It's a protein. Thank you, Addie, for using the Google. So there, ARF6 and its relatives, the ADP, ribosylation factor protein family, is a part of the large RAS superfamily that encompasses small GTP GTPases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No nicotine. It says nicotine free right there. But it doesn't matter because, again, it's not the nicotine. It's they're going after flavors. Now they're going after the carriers. But like I said, obviously, if you pour an anhydrous antimicrobial fluid onto
tissue,
skin cells, or slides of any tissue, let alone in endothelium, not exothelium, this is the tissues inside of your body that are normally moist.
Right.
the tissues inside of your lungs. I know that most people think that moist is a bad word, but those tissues are usually moist. You throw something that's going to suck the moisture out of it and attack the microbes. Even beneficial microbes are destroyed by antimicrobial substances.
Right. Agents. Yeah.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Well,
it's going to cause inflammation, going to cause increased circulation. It's going to do stuff that you don't want to do because you're pouring a liquid onto tissues that are not normally used to having liquid on them.
Yeah, you can fog an area with propylene glycol to kill surface
Bacteria.
bugs.
Yes, it's
that's what
antimicrobial.
they fog operating rooms with PG.
Not anymore. That's what they used to use.
Yeah.
Like 30 years ago, but now they have completely different static systems and negative pressure and all sorts of other things that suck all the dust out of the room.
Right.
But this is ridiculous. But like I said, this is science just to get paid to do science. Because any scientist with common sense would know if they did any research on the substances used, they wouldn't even have to do the test. By definition, these fluids are going to do things based on what those fluids are. So, and again, not in a simulation. If they had used a machine to create vapor and expose those tissues to vapor, then we're talking maybe, okay, this is possibly good science.
Right.
But to get an eyedropper or a pipette and just drop drops of the liquid onto the tissues, that's not science.
No, it's not.
It's not good science. It's not reasonable science. It's not well thought out science. Their experiment has nothing to do with the real world situation.
Zero. So,
I mean, I'm assuming that Jason selected this scientific study because he wanted me to tear it apart, and because
yes, I did.
The word because it uses the word evaluate in it. I think that was
exactly
the
why I picked
justification that he.
Yep.
But this is unscience. This is the worst type of science because people will read this shit, and because it sounds complex and it uses terms that I had to look up, ARF6, or that Addie had to look up for me, that people are going to see, oh, they're using sciencey words. This must be true because it's got sciencey words in it. But again, it's bad science. It doesn't mimic the real world. It doesn't mimic how the product is used. It's just bad. This is horrible science. And I'm gonna. Is there a funding tab down here? No. Well, let's see acknowledgments. Let's see if there's any acknowledgement. There's some. No, doesn't say who paid for it.
Data curation.
Yeah, conceptualization, data curation, formal analysis, investigation, methodology. See, there's a failure in methodology. Again, all three of the scientists have the word methodology. So all three of these guys are responsible for the study design, and it's bad. It's bad.
I'm going to mark this one to see when it gets retracted.
Well, it doesn't need to be retracted. I mean, scientists don't retract science that they did badly. Because, again, it can be replicated. But, again, scientists should ask, well, why are we doing this? Because obviously PG and VG, mostly PG. PG is anhydrous. It's antimicrobial. It's going to cause biological things to occur just on the nature of what it is. That one ingredient. The flavors are probably using PG as a carrier, so that's even more PG. The VG is sugary. It's got more sweetener in it. It has a certain amount of sugar, natural sugars in it. That's gonna start a whole other situation to occur. And it's also a little anhydrous, not as much as PG, but still. And then you got to look at whatever the pH factor of those are. I don't know what the pH factor is, but inside the human body, it's about a 6 or a 7, right in the middle, neutral.
Pretty neutral.
That's what it wants to be. But if PG and VG, if their pHs are above or below, that's also going to cause problems when you are using a liquid as your, experiment. If you're going to do your experiment that way, this is ridiculous.
Am I going to get dry knuckles?
You could, if you're not drinking water. I mean, not because of vaping, just because the wind is, it's winter and it's less
heater,
and if your AC and heater are going year round, you could have a situation where you get dry knuckles, but again, not because of the vape. It's just that's part of natural shit. Really? So you're not in Utah, right? You're in like Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
where the wind comes screaming down the plain.
I'm not in Utah.
So, but Utah elected a Mormon from Massachusetts to be their senator, Mitt Romney, which always, makes me scratch my head because he was the governor of Massachusetts. As far as I know, he didn't live in Utah, but yeah. So it says here, Senator Romney co-sponsors a bill to fight youth vape crisis and hold e-cigarette companies accountable. Senator Mitt Romney was one of 5 co-sponsors for a bipartisan bill sponsored by Jeanne Shaheen that would hold e-cigarette companies accountable and protect children from their products. In addition to Romney, other co-sponsors are Lisa Murkowski. She's a Republican from Alaska. Obviously, Dick Durbin. Tammy Baldwin from Wisconsin. And Senator Susan Collins from Maine. You bunch of idiots. A press release from Senator Romney's office referred to the bill as the Resources to Prevent Youth Vaping Act. The release stated the act would require manufacturers of e-cigarettes to pay user fees to the FDA. For the press release, manufacturers of traditional combustible tobacco products pay FDA user fees, but e-cigarette companies are exempt due to a loophole in the law. The release also stated user fees would help increase awareness of the dangers of e-cigarettes. By granting the FDA authorization to collect user fees on e-cigarettes, our legislation will further efforts to tackle the vaping crisis and protect children from increasingly addictive and illicit products. So, y'all might not. I did a show years ago explaining how the calculation of user fees is conducted, and it's based on the number of cigarettes that you manufacture and sell, and you pay those user fees as a tobacco manufacturer to the FDA on a quarterly basis for the right to sell your deadly combustible cigarettes. So Trump actually floated this idea when he was president, when he had that was one of the things that he, mentioned when Mitt Romney was kind of sitting beside him in that room with Greg and the Pave Women and the guys from Blue and, all those people were there. The guys from Tony Abood from the VTA was there. The idea that, and that's when we did the show about user fees, because I wanted everybody to understand that if something like that were to occur, there would be no vape company, no mom and pop vape companies in the world or in the United States would be here, because the user fees would cost more than the products that they sold. Not because it's based on what you manufacture.
Right.
And they want to know, they know how much nicotine they have. Yes. You report all of your ingredients to the FDA as part of product registration. So they know how much nicotine you need, how much PG you need, and they monitor your inventory. So they know. And we know a lot of e-liquid gets made and never sells and then ends up either on the in a garbage can or returned or whatever. A lot of shit sits on the shelf to the point where you can't use it anymore. But you still have to pay your user fees for those. Cigarettes, on the other hand, they don't usually stay on the shelf very long. So lots of companies will be paying user fees for products that they sold to vape stores that end up sitting on a shelf.
Well, cigarettes are staying on the shelf longer now than they ever have. There's your hat.
No. Yeah, I told you I would be seeing ads for it. There it is. That white one, right? That white one right there that has the Pro Bowl logo on the side. That's the one I want. Assholes. One of these days, the cam's going to be on during the show, and you're going to see the hat on my head. I'm going to find one. But anywho, so this is very dangerous. Very dangerous. This way of thinking of, so if you're, again, if we ever were to, I always say this, if you agree to a tax today, you agree to the tax increase tomorrow.
Never agree to the tax.
So, and if you agree to a tax, you're also agreeing to that this product is a sin product, and you're agreeing that the product is dangerous.
Right.
So then there goes all of your arguments for, well, it's harm reduction. Because if you truly believe that it's a harm reduction product, you would never agree to pay a cigarette-like tax. In addition, I mean, sales tax is the tax. That's the only tax that this product deserves. Because it is not a cigarette. It doesn't cause harm like a cigarette does. So why in the hell would you agree to pay a tax for something that you know is safe just because they'll leave us alone? That's what they always, well, if we agree to this now, they'll just leave us alone. No, they will not. And let's be honest, this is how the government works. It requires an act of Congress to create a tax from scratch. To increase an existing tax, that's a line item on a budget. If the budget gets approved in committee, those tax increases do not require a new bill. They do not require any sort of hearing. It's in the bill. All we're doing is increasing the existing tax. Ooh. It just started raining really hard outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's raining here too.
We're getting a cold front in South Texas, is what they said. It's going to be like 65 tomorrow.
A not so hot front.
Yeah. But anyway, here. Romney also said vape products often target a younger demographic with the sweeter candy-like flavors, a sentiment echoed by the sponsor and co-sponsors of the bill. E-cigarettes continue to be an epidemic. No, I have your FDA Yahoo, Brian King, saying that he knows exactly what an epidemic is, and that FDA does not use the word epidemic in relations to youth usage. So Shaheen needs to sit down and talk to Brian King, because they need to, I mean, obviously people are a bit confused on what that word means, epidemic, because they've been, inundated with misinformation.
Yeah.
Specifically about that word in the last couple years without being specific. Because apparently people just bandy shit around that they don't use words that they don't. I mean, it's like when I cringe every time I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm addicted to chocolate." That don't use that word. You're demeaning the word addiction when you use that comparison. But anyway, according to a study by the FDA and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in 2022, 2.55 million middle and high school students in the U.S. reported currently using within the last 30 days an e-cigarette. How many kids is that? 2.55 million. That's I'm sure there's probably as many that are doing something else they're not supposed to do. And I'm sure if you could get them to tell the truth and not tell a lie, the number of kids that are doing other things that they're not supposed to do would be 10 times that.
Drinking.
All sorts of things that they're not supposed to do. I'm just going to draw the line at things you're not supposed to do. The use of e-cigarettes by our young people threatens the progress we have made to reduce overall tobacco use, Senator Collins said. The findings of the FDA and CDC study revealed more than 30% of high school students and nearly 12% of middle school students reported daily use of an e-cigarette. That is not true. 30% of high school students? 30%. That is what that is. Addy, get your Googles out, bro. This is bullshit. It's not 30% of high school students that are using e-cigarettes. We already know that number is down substantially. Down. All right, let me go over here. I'm going to pull another tab. I'm going to use the Google AI. What is the percentage of U.S. high school students that vape? Oh, yeah. Let's see. According to the Google bot, the AI, according to the FDA, do I need to share this so that you guys, or can I just read it?
Just read it.
Okay. I just want, according to the FDA, 10% of high school students and 4.6% of middle school students report current use of e-cigarettes in 2023. 10%.
So they tripled the numbers.
So for the purposes of this Romney BS lie, this article says that 30% of high schoolers are using, that's what it says, 30% report daily use of an e-cigarette. According to the CDC and the FDA's websites, this is where the AI has received this answer. 10% of high school students and 4.6% of middle school students report current use of e-cigarettes in 2023. So this says 30%. This says 30% and 12%. So they have multiplied. Yes, they've multiplied by 3 for the purposes of this misinformation article on what is this? What website is this? ABC4. ABC. We need to get in our links and tweet these bitches with facts from the. I'm just saying we have. It only took me a simple Google search. You saw me do it. And the Google AI went to the FDA and the CDC's website and pulled that information for me. That's simple. Anyway, the e-cigarette brand Puff Bar is not authorized by the FDA, and the company declares so on their website and also claims sales to minors is prohibited. I don't actually need to go to the FDA website to know that sales to minors are prohibited because it's freaking law. According to a 2021 letter from the American Lung Association to the FDA sent a letter to Puff Bar in 2020, after which the company said they'd stop selling products in the U.S. And then they changed the name.
Rebranded. Yeah.
They just changed the name. The letter to the American Lung Association said Puff Bar later resumed sales and claimed it reformulated a product so that it contained synthetic nicotine as a way to escape FDA jurisdiction. Well, that's not really how it works. But anyway, the bill also expanded FDA's authority to collect user fees on e-cigarette producers and put that money towards increasing youth awareness of its dangers and preventing sales of e-cigarettes to minors. This effort is all about protecting the health of our kids, said Senator Murkowski. Puff Bar is still not authorized by the FDA and will never be authorized by the FDA. And as revealed to the CDC, Puff Bars are still the disposable e-cigarette of choice among American youth in 2022. What year are we in there? Not Kevin?
2024.
Oh, wow, this is 2 years ago, but they're still quoting that shit like it's brand new data. Anyway, in 2023, a 2023 study of the CDC revealed e-cigarette use had declined among high schoolers from 2022 to 2023, but increased among middle schoolers within the same time period, despite the decrease in high school, blah, blah, blah. Do you notice that they don't actually put the percentages
numbers
of the 2023 that we just showed you were 1/3 of what they BS claimed in the top of this article. We must stop this exploitation of kids and teens before another generation falls victim to the nicotine. You know what we should do to stop exploiting these children is to screen the fucking teachers that are diddling them at a rate of 10%. Maybe not put cameras in bathrooms. Maybe give them a little privacy in the John. And possibly, just possibly, having an educator do their fucking job and walk over there periodically and say, hey, wash your hands and get to class. That's all you have to do. You don't need to buy expensive cameras and fancy schmancy glass bathroom doors. All you have to do is be a little bit more active in the, dispensation of your job. Just poke your head in and say, hey, y'all, get your asses to class. I mean, really. That's all you got to do.
I think part of the problem is the numbers are skewed because the ever use is skewing the percentages.
No, they said 30-day, once in 30-day use.
Right.
This one here, the actual official website is current use, which is the once in 30 days.
Right.
So it's the same fucking stat. I mean, it's supposed to be the same fucking stat, I should say. And then Victor says he just talked to a 17-year-old kid that says he goes on Instagram, orders, and gets disposables delivered within an hour. That's entrepreneurship right there. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, if we had Instagram when I was in high school, I would have been selling pot like crazy. I'm just telling you. And I never used my own product, so I'd have been making bank. We didn't have that though when I was a kid. You just had to, bump into each other in the hallway.
Flip 20.
Yep. Quarter bag, dime bag, nickel. Look at that. Skip's here.
Hey, Skip.
Skip, this actually, this is something that Skip is this next piece that you found, Kevin. I'm going to make sure that it's not behind the paywall. Not Kevin. We don't really have the full text on this one, but this is one that Skip will appreciate because this is near and dear to her, and Richard's, and everybody, that's interested in this area. Let's present this. Share screen. This is a brief report. The prevalence of smoking and vaping among adolescents with/without intellectual disability in the UK. So it says here, few studies have investigated the prevalence of smoking among young people with and without intellectual disability. To date, no study has investigated the prevalence of vaping among young people with and without intellectual disability. So they did secondary analysis of data collected on nearly 12,000 adolescents age 14 in 2015 and another almost 10,000 adolescents at age 17 in 2018. Now again, if you're doing vaping studies and you're using data from 2015 and 2018, not to be a jerk, but your data is not going to be very good.
No,
because we know that these products were not heavily used if we're talking about vaping in those years.
Right.
I mean, there was a boom in 2016, don't get me wrong, but it's still, they need to be collecting this data now.
Right.
Because you would have much significantly higher participation. But anyway, the prevalence of smoking ages 14 to 17 and of vaping 14 was similar among adolescents with and without intellectual disability. there was some evidence to suggest that at age 17, the prevalence of more frequent vaping was higher among girls with intellectual disabilities than among their female peers. So further large-scale population-based research is required to determine the prevalence of smoking and vaping among people with intellectual disability. Evidence that age 17, the prevalence of vaping was higher among girls. So, I mean, obviously, this is just us saying, please do this research. Like, this is information that I think would be warranted. I mean, we already know. We have data that already proves and tells us people that have mental illness more frequently smoke. We know that. But to include, a younger population in that data collection would help us immensely, I think.
Well, people
So,
that have physical illness, pain, I'm sure are heavy smokers and vapors,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a hill that I will die on because of people that are close to me have pain issues, and that's part of a coping mechanism of, so.
Yeah. Let's stay away from dying on hills, though. Let's just crush our enemies before us so that we don't have to die on a hill.
Well,
I'm still in this week about big vape companies appealing, and you said something about the claws are out now.
Right.
It's too fucking late for the claws to be out now. The Supreme Court is not going to hear this. They're just not. Anybody that's been following this current group of Supreme Court justices, they have no desire to rule on a vaping case. Like, they've turned down like 6 cases in the last 2 years that have something to do with vaping. They've sent them back to the appellate courts. I'm predicting that any case that comes before them, they're going to choose not to hear, and they're going to kick it back to the appellates because they don't want to do it. They don't think.
Well, there's a split in the appellate courts, so that's why.
Yeah, they're going to
court. Yeah.
So the Supreme Court said go back and hear it before the full court.
Right.
So yeah,
yeah,
they're not. I mean, that would have been a perfect time if they were going to do it.
Right.
If it had been any other topic, they probably would have picked up the case. But in this current political environment, this is not sexy enough. They want to hear that immigration case, or they want to hear, some sort of corruption. They want to hear something with some bones on it or some meat on it, so that they can make case law.
Right.
I don't imagine that they're. I could be 100% wrong. I could be. It's possible, but I promise you that my record on making predictions is still pretty damn good.
I hope you're wrong.
I would hope I'm wrong too, but I also believe if they do hear it, we're not going to like what they say.
I think they're going to be more of a tiebreaker.
Not with the way those last two, the Texas case, where the two that we thought were going to be the most conservative sided with the liberal judges. Right. I just don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be as close as what we think it is. I think we expected a certain thing from those two, and they sided with the liberals, and I don't think we're getting what was advertised when Trump nominated them.
Right.
But here, we'll do a UK Nannystate piece here. Let me. All right. I like this one.
I can't quite work out this vape ban. The suggestion that I've heard is to cast a cloud or a shadow over what's going on in the House of Lords today, which would be more thrashing around of she's a difficult Rwanda bill. So if it's
So he's just suggested that Rishi Sunak, the British Prime Minister, came out and announced this stuff on the vape, disposable vape ban as a way to draw attention away from other legislation that was being heard in Parliament on that day.
Makes sense.
that at least explains it. But this is, banning vapes completely, disposable vapes completely. That's classic nanny statism. That's not supposed to be what the Tories are about. There's already a law that bans children under the age of 18 from buying these things. There's a £2,500 fine on shopkeepers that break that law. Surely that's enough.
So $2,500 fine if a vape shop gets caught selling a vape to a minor. 2,500 pounds, not euros. 2,500 pounds is almost $4,000. So how many vape shops in America could survive a $4,000 fine for selling a $20 vape product?
Not many.
I don't think any. I mean, in this current environment, and I'm talking about a non-chain vape shop, not a convenience store, not a product, but an actual vape shop that sells vapes.
Yeah,
I promise you, if Skip still had her vape shop, or if Mark was in here and he was told that he had a $4,000 fine, that would be an end to your livelihood. Most of these vape shops, even during the heyday, were not buying, Lamborghinis.
No.
Even then they were still, barely making ends meet. And that's during the good years. So yeah, $4,000 fine is nothing to scoff at.
Enough, and if you really want to get tough on it, why not just up the fine to 10,000 or something? What is this all about?
Well, I think it's a number of things. I think that vaping, if you vape, if you are a vapor because you were a former smoker, that is a good thing because we know that the health impacts of smoking is obviously more severe than vaping. However, the way in which they are currently packaged, the way in which they are sold, you're absolutely right. You can't sell a vape to someone that's under the age of 18. But the fact that we're seeing that 10% nearly of 11 to 15-year-olds have access to these vapes on a daily basis because of the way that they are marketed, because of the.
So he's saying that the marketing is what allows kids to buy these products. It's not the marketing. It's not the packaging. It's poor enforcement of existing law. It's the same thing here in the States. I mean, it doesn't matter if the product is flashy and eye-catching. If people follow the rules, kids can't get them.
Right.
So why blame the flavor? The flavors have nothing to do with who sells what to who. But when they don't have any other argument that they can lob, well, they just rely on, it's flashy color and it's got, mine's not even a flashy color. It's just, matte black, but it's a flashy color and it's got flavors in it. And that means that kids are going to get it. No, that just means that you have to be more vigilant in making sure that the kids don't get it.
Is that an easy tube?
This is an easy tube by Anakin.
Ooh, Phil Basardo.
Designed by my very good friends Phil Basardo and Dimitri Agrafiotis.
Yep.
And it's got the new minimal slide.
Ooh,
I think that's what it's called. It's much short. It's shorter.
Nice.
Compared to this other full-sized
slide.
Yeah,
yeah, it is shorter.
I just like the form factor. I bought a couple for myself and Kevin for Christmas.
It looks like a chameleon color too.
Well, no, this is just. Were you talking about the tank?
Yeah, the
it's
mod.
like a gunmetal. The mod is just black.
Okay,
it's
your lights.
Black.
Okay,
but if you wait a few minutes after this article, the tweet of the week. Since I can't actually promote any particular website, I'm just kind of reaching out. Just pay attention to the tweet of the week video piece. But anyway, let's keep going here.
Flavoring, and they are nicotine substances. The idea that you're going to have a number of young people being hooked effectively on nicotine, I don't think is a good thing.
It's
and
depressing to see a
we should stop.
Tory. I think it's depressing to see a Tory Prime Minister doing this, following his ludicrous plan that you can smoke if you were born in 2009, but you can't smoke if you were born in 2010. That kind of thing. I just think that's not what we look for to a Tory government for. This is nanny statism. Leave us alone. We'll make our own decisions.
Well, I can.
Yeah, I like that. Leave us alone. We'll make our own decisions.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is that's a UK, non-freedom and liberty people. They don't have the same freedom of speech that we have. They don't have the same Bill of Rights that they have. The Magna Carta, which is similar but not exactly the same. They don't have the same rule of laws that we have, and they're over there calling out their corrupt. The Tories are like sort of supposed to be milder versions of like libertarian. They're small government. That's kind of one of their part of their thing, and to have a prime minister who campaigned on the fact that he was a Tory, it would be kind of depressing when he's instituting these censorship laws. Obviously, under his watch, the BBC's released their list of trusted media partners and working with governments and social media organizations to silence people, and also now banning products that adults like. Yeah. And James is right. Yeah, James is down there in the Bogan land. He says, "Leave us alone. Enforce the laws you have internationally." Yeah, that goes for all of you assholes, not just the American assholes, but all the other assholes. But all right, boss. Here, let's do this. We're gonna do our tweets. So you have to be prepared. Pay attention to our little video piece here.
It's time for the Vape Cats X of the Week.
So we're in the middle. Yes, there. See, Kevin has the bit there, but we have four tweets to talk about tonight. My tweet, which is this tweet. Kevin's got a tweet. Skip has a tweet because Kevin sent it to me, and there might be another one in there. But this one, I saw this one, I kind of had a chuckle because of the ZYNSURRECTION. So we have a little tweet with a little video piece here. So we're gonna unmute this deal and start at the beginning here, and just kind of have us a chuckle here. Let's make it bigger. I got the sound up.
Brothers, friends, family, I've come to you today to talk about something very important to me. For anyone who knows me, for as long as you've known me, I've always had a cushy, soft pillow riding either my upper lip or my bottom lip. And for the longest time, the brand I used is ZYN. And in the last couple of days, what I've learned about ZYN is they're trying to take down the other brands. And everybody wants to be a part of a winning team, but my heart, my soul feels as though there's another brand out there that I could fight for, that I could be a part of, that makes me feel like I'm not just another lip, but I'm the lip. The one that makes them say, hey, buddy, not only are you going to get this nicotine spritz, but you're also just going to live the rest of your life knowing that I'm thinking about you just as much as you're thinking about me. Because of that, I have no choice but to break up with ZYNS. I hope we don't cry because it's over. I hope we all smile because it happened. I don't know if this is forever or this is a lapse in judgment, but I have to know what other nicotine pouches are out there, and I hope all of you watching and all of you listening can just feel and respect what I'm saying. My journey starts now. For those of you who have some ideas of other ZYN products, there I go. Still thinking about it. Other nicotine products that would best suit me, please let me know. I need you all more now than ever.
I don't know, like what? I think like literally one more week of time, like he would see like that our connection is a lot stronger than him and some of the girls.
That's good.
I was unaware that ZYN was actively trying to take out their competition, but that's business. But I did think it was a little funny. But fishing for sponsorship.
That's good.
Yeah. There's our Copenhagen. But so that was my selection. It had a little bit of a comedic edge to it. While we were gone or playing that video, Victor said he's out for the night.
See you,
Bye,
Victor.
Victor. Stay out of trouble. Then this is from you. You said this is Mackenzie Lee. This is you chose this one. Your favorite tweet of the week, and nothing is less alpha man than holding a pink vape while driving with your hands at 10 and 2. Do you have a pink vape in your hand? Is that what
I do?
How gay are you? That's not
This
nice.
is funny because this is like me every day with a stupid little funny thing in my hand, even a funny purple billet box or something. It could be said the same way,
I actually do have a purple billet box somewhere. But I actually this week, the last couple of weeks since I bought this, I've been only vaping this. I haven't been using any of my other devices. I've been thoroughly testing out the Anakin products. So Adel says, I drive past this at least 10 times a day. I look at them in awe, aspiring one day to live up to their standards. If only if I can be half the man they are, I know Mama would be proud.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Half of zero is still zero, though, babe.
Look, right here. Look, there's an advertisement for cannabis vape carts right there. Right there. You see that?
Boom.
Look at that.
Sad.
That is depressing that can get an advertisement. That's allowed to be advertised. But safer nicotine products cannot. That is just bullshit. And then this one, I can't remember if this is the tweet that Kevin sent me and told me this was Skip's favorite tweet of the week or what, but it says here, tell me you don't know anything about nicotine e-cigarettes without telling me. 1, refer to e-cigarettes as smoking, which we've had a video, a couple pieces tonight that people referred to smoking an e-cigarette. And 2, introduce the topic by citing the number of people affected by EVALI in 2019, despite it being caused by contaminated THC vapes, not nicotine e-cigarettes. And Skip says, yes, that was her favorite. So, see, Kevin, even though he's not here, he's here in spirit because he did nag me and sent me links for stuff, even though he's not here. I got tagged in a Phil tweet this week about the bathroom thing. Like I didn't already have that on the list, and my phone went off. I think I got like 100 alerts of people commenting, of people sharing, and I'm like, damn it, Phil. Damn it. But yes, this is an awesome tweet. So Jonathan down here says health misinformation is harmful as it is, as it can cause confusion and so mistrust regarding the adoption of public health recommendation policies. Yeah. And he said, did we ban all syringes when assessing the causes of heroin ODs? Do we consider banning matches because they contribute to the deaths from smoking? No, because it's ridiculous. E-Valley was simply not caused by e-cigarettes, no matter how much public health has tried to twist it. Every once in a while, Jonathan is on fire.
He's good.
Fire. Oh,
He's
this
good.
one was one that I found after the fact. Okay, let's share this. This is Dr. Gary Payinda. And apparently he's an emergency doctor, ultrasound, pre-hospital med, drowning resuscitation, patients over corporate profits. Disinformation gets blocked. Opinions are my own. So anyway, he's retweeting this from Nick Stray Dogs New Zealand. And this is a video of a minister in New Zealand. Let's go ahead and make this one bigger. Make sure that I'm not muted. And let's play this and see what happens.
Is caffeine as harmful as nicotine? Oh, look, that will depend on dose response curves, on body mass index, and a whole range of other things. Depends if you're thinking about what goes with it. You see, nicotine often comes with tobacco, which comes with a whole lot of tar and other things that are unhealthy. But if you have too much creamer in your coffee, that could be unhealthy for you too.
Well, they're both harmful, and I'm certainly addicted to caffeine.
I already don't like this guy. But he says he's certainly addicted to caffeines, and he's had up to 4 coffees today. I had 4 coffees before lunch today. Minister of House, formerly worked for a tobacco company.
4 coffees today. I mean, they're both bad for you.
Is there a line that is often put out by tobacco lobbyists?
I don't know. I don't know if it's lobbyist. I mean, caffeine's addictive, so is nicotine. There are lots of things in society that are addictive, and people are, both health problems for New Zealand.
Was there a line that you used when you were a tobacco lobbyist?
No, and organization of my former career.
Minister Willis, your name was among those mentioned in an article this morning from a few public health experts about links to the tobacco industry. Are you confident that none of those links have had anything to do with any of your policies? Have an influence on
I haven't seen those articles, and I can absolutely be clear that my views on smoke-free New Zealand, a goal that I hold dear. I want fewer smokers in New Zealand. Those are my views, and they're based on my desire for New Zealand to be a better place.
So is caffeine as harmful as nicotine? And he says it depends on a lot of factors. The next guy says, the next guy says, well, it depends on if you separate nicotine from smoking, which is absolutely true. So anyway, let's make this regular size again. So this says health minister or ministers react to associate minister of health's claim that nicotine is harmful as caffeine. And then, oh, look, Seymour got the right answer. And Millie Molly, I never thought we'd see politicians trying to explain how coffee can be as harmful as cigarettes. This guy, no, they never said that. So, of course, coffee is not nearly as harmful as cigarettes, but is caffeine that's in coffee in the same ballpark as nicotine when not including the cigarette? That's what they were talking about. This is just trying to brainwash people. So Natty says they are framing an essential topic in such a misleading way. We know that caffeine and nicotine are both central nervous system stimulants, but the tobacco in cigarettes, when burned, exposes smokers to toxins like tar and arsenic, which cause the greatest harm to one's health. That is absolutely true.
They're trying to conflate coffee and cigarettes and the harms.
They're trying to piss off all the fucking coffee drinkers is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're disingenuous in their conflation of smoking when the topic was caffeine and nicotine, not smoking and coffee.
And drink coffee, right.
Right. But yeah, people are stupid. And Gary Payenda, the doctor, he's a stupid asshole. He disingenuously spun it to say what he wanted to say instead of being clear and saying, yes, we're talking about nicotine separated from cigarettes. That's where the harm is. It's in the cigarette. It's not in the nicotine. But anyway, yeah. Oh, and here, so I posted this link that we're going to talk about next in the chat, and then Not Kevin went all over the internet and found a whole bunch of stories about people robbing vape shops. Of course, people rob shit all the time. I was like, this is not the point of why I put this in here. I put this in here specifically because somebody died. Let's talk about somebody dying. Because, we all like to rubberneck. Has nothing to do with vape shops being robbed. We know that's going to happen. Any shop is going to be robbed. I would never open a retail store of any type just because I know that assholes are going to be assholes and rob shit.
Yep,
Here,
steal shit.
Let me put this in here. Screen, share. It says here, 19-year-old killed in vape shop shooting, 14-year-old charged with murder. That is the drama. That is the selling point of this article. Let's see what the video does. Probably going to have a commercial. Let's watch the wheel spin. The wheels on the bus go round and round. I'm listening to 12 seconds of the ding, 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 ding. Not doing it. 5, 4, 3. There's a button. Okay. But where's my mute button?
Where there was a we have a breaking news alert out of Charleston where there is a large police presence right now outside of a smoke shop. It's on the west side, North Charleston area, 7th Avenue, if you know what we're talking about, if you're familiar with that area. This is a developing story as we speak. We want to get you over to News Channel 3's Adriana Doria, who has been live on the scene for about the last 45 minutes or so with more on what is happening. Hey, Adriana.
Tim, yeah, that's right. We've been here for just about an hour, and as of minutes ago, we have confirmed with Charleston police that they are investigating a robbery and homicide here on 7th Avenue in North Charleston, right here at this tobacco and pipe store behind me. Now, I'm going to step out of the way so you can see very much an active scene. Fair to say probably around a dozen police crews.
If I sit here and watch these flashing lights long enough, I probably am going to have a seizure.
You could.
But yeah. So this is not a vape shop. It's a tobacco store.
Cruisers here investigating. We've got the caution tape, the crime scene tape here, making sure nobody is crossing that. Now, what we know already is police responded at around 8:40 to a reported robbery. And once they got here on scene, one male victim was shot. Now, they can confirm that victim is an employee of this tobacco shop here. The suspect in this case has fled on foot towards the river here. Now, they say there's no threat to the public necessarily, but they're urging people, if they see anything suspicious in this area, to make sure that they report it to Charleston police. And again, very much an active scene. We are going to be staying.
So when they did the video, they have not captured the culprit.
Right.
But it turns out that the culprit was a 14-year-old feral child, apparently. This is one of those situations where I'm just like, what the fuck happened that if somehow in our wonderful, glorious country, a 14-year-old is robbing a tobacco store. I mean, when I was 14, my dad would pull up to the gas pump and say, here's money, go get me a pack of cigarettes. He'd send me in there with a gun to get his cigarettes. This is crazy. So, yeah, according to law enforcement, a 14-year-old entered the store, pulled out a firearm, and demanded money and merchandise. Police say Martin complied with the teen's demands and at no time took an aggressive approach. As the teen was leaving the store, he fired multiple rounds at Martin. The accused shooter left the store, headed towards the Kanawha River, Martin suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Law enforcement said at approximately 1:30 a.m., the 14-year-old was taken into custody and charged with murder and robbery. Investigators say more charges are possible. They also said the youth had no history of criminal activity. How do you go from like no history of doing anything wrong
to murder?
To I mean, that's cold-blooded murder if he was doing it on his way out the store. Like, he had already gotten the money, he'd already gotten what he wanted. Turn around and blast somebody just because you wanted to. I mean, this is obviously there's something wrong with the wiring in this kid's head. We need to get him help, but also he needs to pay the penalty for what he did. But this is just bad.
We just had an earthquake here just now. My phone's
Really?
going off like crazy. Yeah.
Did you shake a little bit? Did you feel it?
Yeah, I saw my mic shake. Yeah.
I've only ever been in an earthquake once. I was in like the 17th story at a condo in Memphis, Tennessee, and the plants on the balcony did this. Kind of weird. That was about it.
My seat's got springs in it, so I didn't feel it in my seat, but I saw my mic move, and now my phone's going off.
Bling, 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 bling.
Yep.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Oh, you'll love this one. Kevin would this one is one that Kevin would just he'd be cussing at. So it's a good thing that you're not Kevin. So it says this is Newsweek. Now, Newsweek used to be a respected. I know there's my. See, I told you you're going to see ads for that freaking hat. Yeah, Newsweek used to be a respected news outlet back in the day. They, published magazines, and they were like journalism,
garbage, tabloid.
Excuse me. Vaping warning as e-cigarettes cause health problems in 4 in 5 users. All right. I mean, there's currently all right, there's at least 10 people in here. Everybody raise a hand if you've had any health problems, so we can get a poll going of the number of people here who have experienced health problems from vaping. Here's why vaping destroyed the planet. Should we actually waste 46 seconds? There's probably an ad here. The prevalence of disposable vapes is posing a risk, not only of fires, but also to the environment. While batteries in any devices have the potential to start a fire, the shape and construction of vapes makes them more likely to behave like flaming rockets when their batteries fail. Part of the problem also comes from the fact that they are disposable, with devices usually ending up in the street or in landfills. In the UK, 50%. Blah, blah, I missed that. Now I lost it because Bucky. I haven't seen Bucky in ever. Where you been, Bucky? We miss you. You don't know Bucky. Bucky's our friend. He haven't seen Bucky in a long time. I thought Bucky hated us. Anyway, vaping is often considered to be a safer alternative to smoking, but that does not mean it is without risk. In a study published by the Journal of Public Health, nearly 4 in 5 e-cigarette users reported experiencing adverse health outcomes within 6 hours of vaping. The results raised serious concerns about the health impacts associated with these devices. Holy shit. They're saying that 80% of users have adverse health risks after 6 hours of vaping. He says, are you camping now, or have you been camping since we saw you last, Bucky? In 2021, 4.5% of U.S. adults used e-cigarettes, according to the Centers CDC. However, this number is much higher among younger people, with 10% of the U.S. High school students using e-cigarettes in the past 30 days. At least they're using the correct statistic.
The right numbers. Yeah, they're using the right numbers.
I mean, the other one said 30%, which is 3 times the actual number. But anyway, previous studies have associated e-cigarette use with potential risk of lung disease, asthma, damaged blood vessels, and heart disease, particularly among those with pre-existing health conditions. However, there is still a lack of clear information on the full spectrum of e-cigarette potential adverse health impacts. In the latest study, researchers from the University of California, the San Diego Supercomputer Center, and California State University surveyed a sample of 4,695 current and former e-cigarette users with a median age of 34. The survey collected data on e-cigarette use, adverse health experiences, product characteristics, socio-demographic factors, and the presence of medical comorbidities. In total, 78.9% of respondents reported experiencing some sort of adverse health event within 6 hours of using the vape device, with headaches, anxiety, and coughing most commonly reported effects. Roughly 1 in 8 reported heart palpitations, while 1 in 5 reported a significantly higher heart rate. Hispanic respondents reported higher rates of adverse effects, as did those at least college-level education. However, because of the nature of the study, we do not know for sure that e-cigarettes themselves were causing these effects. The author said more work is needed in this area to determine the mechanisms underpinning this association. Even so, the study is an important look at the potential impacts of vaping. Health professionals should be aware of these potential adverse events when assessing patient symptomology and should counsel patients who use e-cigarettes to consider cessation or reduction of e-cigarettes, the authors wrote. Additional research should be conducted to serve as the basis for adoption of regulatory guidelines that discourage or prohibit the use of products with characteristics that increase risk of adverse effects, they said. And only one person in the chat room said they had no health problems. That was Meaty Bites in the Rumble. Everybody else must have had or health problems because nobody said not me.
I just had an earthquake. Mallory said she had an ice quake.
Oh. Well, I have an ice quake right now.
Yeah, I need to go fill mine in a minute.
I know I need to too, but I haven't had a moment to step away. We're gonna go to the Rumbles in just a short amount of time, though. And in that time, I will be able to refresh my drink.
Yes.
Oh, this one, there's 2 more pieces, and then we can go to the Rumble. Yeah. And Bucky says it sounds like they are surveying first-time users of disposables. I don't know. I've never used one. I don't have any stories.
Pretty harsh.
Yeah. I don't like nicotine salts. Exclusive. Oh, this I had to share this. This is one that you found, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, it says exclusive secret plot to sabotage government's vaping clampdown using online bots exposed.
No, you found this one. This one's yours.
I found this one. I can't remember. More than 3/4 of 120,000 respondents to the public consultation on changes to vaping and smoking rules were fraudulent, as bots were used in attempt to rig results. An investigation has been launched into who was behind an extraordinary bid to sabotage the clampdown on youth vaping. An attempt to rig the public consultation on the issue saw bots used to submit tens of thousands of fake responses. Governments believe that 90,835 of the almost 120,000 submissions, which is more than 3/4, were actually fraudulent. Ministers have announced,
Nice.
Yeah. So they're saying that we use bots with positive comments about vaping to skew the results.
No.
Now, yes. That's what this is saying.
Okay.
That pro vaping,
they're not following. Even if vaping advocates did create a bot army, they're not following what we wanted them to follow.
Well,
they're banning
boys
disposable
and girls.
vapes.
Well, yeah, but disposable vapes, a lot of people like those. So, I mean, I think that anything that is easy to use that will help people quit smoking, that whether I like them or not, because I've never used one, so I don't know if I would like it or not. I think they have a place in the market because there are people that are not going to be able to take the lid off of this tank and squeeze the bottle to get the tip in there. That there are people that have arthritis that can't do that, that just having a simple thing that they can just do that with, and when it's done, you throw it away and buy another one. There are people that benefit from those products being around, regardless of what my personal opinion on the type of nicotine that's in them or whatever, because I don't like nicotine salts, so I'm not going to like disposable vapes. Do they deserve a place to exist? Yes, I think that they do. So here's the problem, though, boys and girls, and this is a problem that I've had with CASA over the years, because the fact that they rely so heavily on their CQ Engage software package, all of those responses appear to be form letters, which means that they are going to be discounted as bot, because there's really, I mean, if people don't actually type in their own responses and the only thing different is their name on the form letter, that could be construed, and they're all going to come through from the same IP address, just like they're criticizing this because of the IP address. So if you use a form letter campaign using a software package where everything gets routed through a central server, it's all going to appear to be one letter. So even if it was 90,000 people filling out a form letter, it's like a fucking petition. They're worthless.
Right.
So this has been, and I mean, obviously it's convenient. It gets more people willing to participate because they don't have to put any actual effort in. But that is the damaging part of using software packages that are designed specifically. I mean, that's what that's the marketability of that software package, is that it's easy to use. You can guide your people through the process. It's simple. More people will participate because they don't actually have to do anything but type in their name and their zip code and hit send. And the form letter gets sent.
Yep.
I'm not saying worthless, but it can be criticized by these people as being a bot or a form letter. Or I myself prefer real, actual people to write real,
Engagement.
actual letters.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And, in the best form, and we've discussed this over the years, there used to be an observable metric. If a politician receives an email, that email represents one person. If, on the other hand, a person writes a handwritten letter or a hand-typed letter, that actually, in the minds of a politician, they say, well, this is one person in a community that took the time to do this. There's probably 10 other people in the community that believe the same thing as this guy, and they hold an actual physical letter as a higher measurement. Nowadays, when people don't write letters, it's probably even higher, because it's such a rarity these days for somebody to actually send a real letter. Now, we see, Chuck Schumer writing firmly worded letters all the time now. But yes, by and large, and Skip says, always type something that is your own words. That is true. But the vast majority of respondents to those CASA calls to action, they don't do that. The vast majority of people just type in their name and hit send, and don't sit there. And I actually have a Microsoft Word file that I use, and over the years, I've added paragraphs, and I've taken paragraphs out and dropped it to the bottom so that it's separate. So I have a paragraph. I have a paragraph for flavor ban. I have a paragraph for T21 back when we were doing anti-T21. I have a paragraph, I have all these different paragraphs that I can just cut from the bottom and bring it to the top and put it in the body, and then cut and paste the whole letter into the CASA call to action, as well as an email, because I like to do both. And then I like to send it as a separate, print it out and send it in an envelope as well. But lots of people aren't going to do that.
If you were a legislator, is a letter from a constituent going to overpower a lobbyist deposit into your account?
Well, I'm probably a little bit smarter than average when it comes to
right
now. I mean, obviously, if a politician gets a check in his personal bank account from a lobbyist, he's going to jail. I mean,
well, you know what I mean, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would be smart enough to make sure that they don't actually
pay you directly. They pay your cousin.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they bring cash money.
Right.
But depending on the time of the year and the election cycle, that letter becomes more valuable to me at certain periods of time. To a politician in general, yes. But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. But for example, if you're a junior senator or a junior congressman, the lobbyists don't knock on your door.
They don't touch your door. Yeah.
By and large, unless you're the party whip or you're the head of the, people from your state, or you're the party leader, the lobbyists don't knock on your door. So that letter would be way more valuable to me, because those lobbyists aren't coming around unless you're Ted Cruz or, So yeah, I mean, the letter is important. Plus, this particular topic that we have right now, the lobbyists stop spending money. The tobacco lobbyists aren't really working as hard as they were 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, they don't have to, because somebody else has taken their place.
Yeah. But yeah. So, anywho, this is essentially basic. I mean, again, I can defend this by saying, well, more than likely, the advocacy group in, I think this is Australia, probably was using some sort of software package, and probably each and every one of those bot letters were probably from people that just typed in their email address and their name and hit OK and put their name at the top of a form letter.
5.1 magnitude.
And this is not the first time that this has happened. Woo. Oh, I'm down here by the Gulf of Mexico, so I won't feel that. But all right, let's see. What is this last piece for the YouTubes here? Oh, this is okay. So you sent an article about North Dakota being fourth in
right. No, Idaho, fourth in the West.
It was some unimportant state.
Right.
So I said, well, let's talk about the article that actually mentions all the states. So this is from Forbes, and this is an analysis, I assume, for insurance companies. States with the most and least. I mean, how do I get rid of this ad? Yeah. States with the most and least e-cigarette use in 2024. This is for probably insurance purposes. Smoking remains a habit among Americans. Some Americans just can't kick, with 5.8% of adults turning to the modern allure of e-cigarettes, according to a new Forbes Advisor study. Smoking e-cigarettes, where's that Jonathan Folds tweet, also referred to as vaping, remains less popular than traditional cigarette smoking, with 11.5% of adults still lighting up, according to the Centers for Disease and CDC. But e-cigarettes are growing in popularity among the most vulnerable demographics. Nearly one quarter, 24.7% of high school seniors have engaged in electronic cigarette use in the last 30 days. That's a third different version of that statistic that we've seen tonight.
Right.
Despite some popularity, e-cigarette usage remains controversial and unsafe, particularly among youth, young adults, and pregnant women. The full effects of vaping as a substitute for traditional smoking remains uncertain. I don't think it does. We have science, with scientists still probing its potential harms. While the CDC notes e-cigarettes may help non-pregnant adult smokers as a cigarette substitute, they may contain nicotine, lead, and cancer-causing chemicals. Not true. Cigarette smoking itself leads to disease and disabilities and harms most organs in the body and continues to be the primary cause of preventable disease, disabilities, and fatalities in the United States. So here's some statistics from the state levels. So Tennessee ranks as the state with the most vapors, and Maryland is the state with the least vapors. 7 of the top 10 states with the most vapors are located in the South: Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and West Virginia. 8 of the top 10 states with the least vapors are located in the East. Damn Yankees. Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont. The state with the most Gen Z vapors, young adults between 18 and 24, is North Dakota. And the state with the least Gen Z vapors is Maryland. And the state with the highest percentage of Gen Zers who use e-cigarettes every day is Oklahoma. The state with the lowest percentage of Gen Zers who use e-cigarettes is, I don't care about Gen Z, 4.9%. So they say that e-cigarette use is higher among men than women. E-cigarette use between the ages of 18 and 24 make up the largest subgroup. Men and women age, as men and women age, their e-cigarette usage decreases, while adults were more likely to use e-cigarettes than any white adults. I said white adults were more likely to use e-cigarettes than any other race. As family income increased, the use of e-cigarettes among adults age 18 and over generally decreased, yada, yada, yada. So there's a map. So the lighter colored states are the ones with the least vaping, and the darkest states are the ones with the most vaping. So Idaho is 4, Tennessee is 2, Tennessee is 1, Kentucky's 2, West Virginia, Texas, only 3.3% of adults vape every day. 3.9%. We're tied for 35th. And just to north of us in Oklahoma, where my friend Sean Gore used to run Oval back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma. So
it's a hot zone here in Oklahoma.
Well, a lot of companies that I used to associate with are no longer there. There used to be a company there called the Vapor Hut.
Yep.
And they had a flavor called Wookie Cookie.
It was good.
That was damn good. Wookie Cookie. Somebody go find me a recipe for Wookie Cookie.
Eddie's probably got one.
Yeah, probably. Kentucky. So this is giving everybody their scores. So
I just don't see how Idaho is beating California with as many people that are in California.
It's a percentage of the population. It's not the total number. Percentage of the population.
Right. I get that per capita, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess there's a lot of people, high percentage in Idaho.
It depends on what you're vaping. I mean, they have the alternative over there that Idaho don't have. And, all those young, fit surfer teens aren't doing it. I don't know. But Forever Spin. Do I want a top like that? That's pretty cool. It's like Damascus steel top.
Yep.
But yeah, there's your charts and stuff for each state. There's a lot of helpful data here. There's a state missing over here. Oregon is white. Look at that. Look how white it is. It's almost gone. But yeah, there's a lot of stats here, but basically it's just saying that everybody's different and certain states are better than others. I don't know.
Well, I thought it was an interesting metric of being the highest in the West with probably the least population, Idaho. I don't know where. Well, maybe Montana might be lower in population, but you know, Nevada's probably got them beat. Arizona's got them beat for sure.
Well, no, I mean, if you talk about the total users, I'm sure California, with its higher than average population,
right,
probably has more users, but percentage of total population
per capita,
yeah. So Skip says Saturday is National Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, and she's vaping in a coffee ice cream. I don't have a coffee ice cream, but I do have a caramel latte that was sent to me.
It is Saturday.
It is. It is here in my time zone. It just turned Saturday, just now.
Yep.
12 o'clock on the dot. All right, boys and girls. I'm going to get up and go refresh my beverage.
Me too.
I think Kevin's going to go, or not Kevin, is going to go and do the same thing and maybe take a leak. I don't know. Possible.
Yep. Power Vape.
Ooh, don't do that. That might blow a colon out. But I will say this. There's a news article, the very last news article, and there's a plethora of articles to discuss on the Rumble show. So we're probably going to be here a little bit longer than what we have been for a while. The headline is "Coffee Has Poop in It" and other disgusting things the FDA allows in food. That's the last article. And there's all sorts of other stuff. So we're going to cover a wide range. Supreme Court, Governor Abbott, illegal immigration. Got a couple stories about different executions that occurred this week. Elon Musk is putting Neuralink chips in people's brains. Oregon University decided it's no longer going to give kids that fail a class an F because it might hurt their feelings. So we got stuff to talk about over there that may not meet YouTube's expectation of sensitivity. So
appropriateness.
Right. So we're gonna go over to the Rumbles. Does anybody need? Well, I'll just go ahead and copy and paste the Rumble link over here for people that don't know, because the show is a different name in the Rumbles. How did I do that? Oh, I hate this damn thing. I hate it. Why can't I just X this? Close. Thank you. Oh, I did put it in there. All right. Oh, and for those of you that may be wondering, why is Patrick not on Facebook tonight? Facebook was giving me shit about starting the live stream over there, so I just said screw it, not going there. But I did share all the other links to the Facebooks. But anyway, let's play a video piece and go get our drinks fixed and come back. Let's see.
Everybody clickety click over to Rumble.
I just gave you the link. So
clickety click, clickety click.
Clickety click. Clickety clack. I need a 3-minute video. We're gonna be gone for 3 minutes. So we'll be back.
Okay.
I will not show my independence, and I will not be making my own decisions.
In 2009, a bipartisan Congress created the Center for Tobacco Products at the FDA, and then the president signed us into law. And no, the fact that Congress and the president agreed on something is not what was historic. It was that for the first time ever, FDA, since the time we were established in 1906, we're really the gold standard agency to make sure that every product you put on or in your body is safe and effective.
Bullshit.
The FDA is expanding a recall of a popular blood pressure drug over concern it may contain an unwanted ingredient that can cause cancer.
Tonight, for people on medication to treat high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration is recalling several drugs that contain an ingredient, valsartan. That drug includes an agent that could cause cancer.
Pfizer recalls its popular anti-smoke